Welcome back to Eagles preseason football here on 6ABC. I'm Jeff Skaversky. Among the things to watch out for tonight, the position battle at nickel corner. Brandon Boykin, the rookie, he's had great ability to close on the ball, according to defensive coordinator Juan Castillo. What's helped with that? His 43-inch vertical leap, which was the best at the NFL Combine. To put that into perspective, Dr. J, Julius Irving, only had a 41-inch vertical leap. Of course, also look out for Boykin on kick returns tonight. 193 yards so far. It's among the best in preseason football. Let's go upstairs for a kickoff.
All right, thank you, Jeff. And Boykin's going to get his opportunity right away as the Eagles have won the toss on a very warm night. About an hour earlier than we have been going for these games, so 81 degrees, a little bit warmer than it maybe has been over the course of the last couple of weeks, but a really good night for football.
It is a good night, and it's good that they're playing in warm weather because we're 10 days away from the opener against the Cleveland Browns at 1 o'clock in Cleveland, so you can guess that there's still going to be some summer heat available as we look at Deshaun Jackson, who has that look like he's probably not going to play it all tonight, and he won't. A lot of starters won't see any action. They're getting themselves ready for the opener. Most of them warmed up. They got a sweat in, and then they shut it down. But obviously, Scott, this is the story of this training camp, Nick Foles.
Nick Foles went out as the captain for the coin toss. He will play probably about a quarter here this evening, and we found out earlier this week that Andy Reid has said that this is his #2 quarterback this year behind Michael Vick.
And it's a big job. Obviously, Mike Vick has missed time in each of the last 3 seasons. And so the backup quarterback, as they always say, and it's true, you're one play away. So we take a look at the rookie that Jeff just mentioned, Brandon Boykin, who we met last week, Scott, and his parents are in the audience tonight. They'll be at every home game this year, but this is a kid I think that's going to have a nice future in Philadelphia.
Said his parents haven't missed any of his games. He knew they were coming in for all 8 home games this year. So when he found a place to live in Philadelphia and South Philly, got a big place with 3 bedrooms to make sure there was room for everybody. Got a little room right there in the middle of the end zone as he takes it out on the opening kickoff. And he is taken down across the 15-yard line out at the 16. A 21-yard return for Boykin.
Well, we mentioned that this is Nick Foles' backup job now, and look, this is what he's done in the preseason. 6 passing touchdowns right now. The quarterback rating off the charts. What's not on there is what I mentioned in the pregame, Scott, is he's dropped back to pass 57 times this preseason. Has yet to be sacked. It'll be a challenge tonight because he's got the backup offensive line in front of him.
One of the things that we've seen from him more than anything else is that he has tremendous poise for a rookie who's never played a down and anger anyway in the NFL. There's Brown on the carry on first down, and good yardage off the left side as he picks up 5.
It's a good opportunity for Bryce Brown, and we'll give you the lineups, but this could change from series to series here. Nick Foles at the quarterback. This Bryce Brown, they're excited to watch him in the starting role. The one thing I'd say about Bryce Brown, just watching him last week against Cleveland, Scott, is the ball gets away from the body a little bit. And once that's on tape, guys will be looking to poke that out. He hasn't played a lot, so ball security is still his #1 objective.
So the starting lineup's brought to you by AAA. On second down, Foles firing, good timing throw. Good for first down yardage out to the 30. Marty Gilliard is probably going to see a fair amount of time here tonight, making his 5th catch of the preseason.
And look, this is what Nick Foles has shown you. A strong, accurate arm, puts it in a good position, good block on the outside by Chad Hall. And you always like to see that in any offense. You know, get the early first down, get the ball moving, get a little bit of momentum early in the game.
2-back set. Emil Iguanagu, the rookie out of UMass, trying to win a roster spot, leading the way for Brown, and good running room once again as he gets it out to the 40-yard line. Looks like another Eagle first down. Garrett McIntyre, the tackle for the Jets.
Well, let's take a look here at the left tackle, Demetrius Bell. And let's just watch him here. Let's just watch what he does in combination with Chase Ford here. Nice job of securing the inside, and there it is. You cut that lane right there, you get him an alley. And we've seen Bryce Brown now, when he gets his shoulders going square to the line of scrimmage, he's got a great burst going north.
Moving it well in the opening series of the game, and right back to Brown on the ground. He's going to be a busy man tonight. Trying to get to the outside, and good pursuit by McIntyre. Knocks him out of bounds after a loss of about a yard.
Just one thing to keep in mind here today, or this afternoon, or this evening here, Scott, is the Jets aren't playing their starters as well. So it's kind of a battle between the backups. I saw some of the Jet stars before the game, Darrelle Revis and Antonio Cromartie and Bart Scott, they're all just in their shells, just watching. So, and of course, Tim Tebow. You can't do a football broadcast without mentioning Tim Tebow's name.
By the way, because he's here, you can call off all the speculation that he might be the mystery speaker at the Republican convention tonight. Foles all day to throw and firing into Jet territory. Once again, nicely thrown ball as Chase Ford brings in his 5th catch of the preseason.
And that's just a sign of the accuracy that Nick Foles has demonstrated throughout the preseason. I mean, that's a well-covered tight end that time. And watch where this ball location is off the play action. Got to turn his back to the defense. And then, look, receivers help make your quarterbacks look good. That's a nice diving catch by Ford.
3 first downs on 5 plays for the Birds so far. Foles all day, up on top for Gilliard. He got him, and it falls right through his hands. Last possible moment that popped out. Donnie Fletcher, the rookie out of BC, was there in coverage, and Gilliard smiling because he knows he had one right in his clutches inside the 10-yard line.
Well, he caught one like that against Pittsburgh 3 weeks ago right here, and he gets behind the defender. There it is. He's got the separation. Oh. And look at this, where this ball hits him. It hits him right on the arm. It's perfectly placed. He's shown a good touch on the deep ball. And most young quarterbacks, that's about the last thing to develop.
Twin receivers to the top of your screen, and it's Brown again with good running room. Pounds it down inside the 40 to about the 38-yard line. It's going to be a 3rd down, a little bit better than 2.
I like Bryce Brown because he's got a nice forward lean to him. He falls forward, which means he's always going to gain yards. I think he just kind of pointed to his helmet like, might want to tap me out of here. There's a backup ready. But that's a nice looking run. Good cut right off of the right guard on that play.
And right here you might find out a little bit more about what Bryce Brown can do in a 2 tight end set in the 3rd and short. Didn't get a whole lot of help as Quentin Coples, the top draft pick of the Jets, found his way into the Eagle backfield and dropped him all the way back to the 43.
Well, in that time, you know, you take a look at the right guard, Steve Vallows right there, and he just, you know, he allows that penetration. Penetration just kills the run game. Working along with Dallas Reynolds there in the picture, 66. They just didn't have good communication on that. That penetration killed that short yardage run.
So Henry to punt it away, trying to find himself a corner. And that little bit of a cooch going to be received by Pollard inside the 15-yard line. Jets will start it off from their own 14 as they come out for their first offensive series. Scoreless here in the opening moments. As an Eagles fan, you understand what it means to give it your all. Isn't it time your bank did the same? Sovereign Bank, official bank of the Philadelphia Eagles, member FDIC.
Take a look at Marty Morningway talking to the quarterbacks there. Mike Kafka with the hat on and the wire coming out of his ear, along with Foles and one Trent Edwards, who we'll see probably the last 3 quarters today. Former #1 draft pick 2 years ago, Brandon Graham, having a good preseason, getting the start tonight at left end.
And the Jets backed up to their own 14-yard line to start it off. Graham jumped offside. And on the screen pass, McKnight gets blown up on the play. He was trying to find his way into empty space. Wasn't going to get there. Shaquan Jarrett got there to knock him down, but that's coming back.
Offsides. Defense number 72. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Apparently it was more than one, according to Paul Lane, the referee tonight.
Well, it's just Brandon Graham. We saw this problem last week. Guys just trying to get up on the snap count, and they got to stop listening to the snap count and just look at the ball, and they won't be guilty of that infraction.
Greg McElroy, the quarterback for the Jets tonight. And that is McKnight. Spun around in the middle of the field. Short pickup of about 2. Cedric Thornton, who we talked about in the opening on the tackle for the Eagles.
Yeah, there's Vinny Curry, their 2nd-round pick in the bottom of the pile as well. And lineups here tonight. Frank Trotter getting the start at defensive tackle. Ryan Rao, number 47 out of Portland State. Remember Jerry Glanville, head coach of Portland State? He really likes this kid.
Lineup's brought to you by AAA. Your AAA card useful in ways you might not expect. Besides roadside assistance, we offer auto insurance. For a quote on auto insurance, the AAA way, call, come in, or visit AAA.com. On second down, to the near side, and good for first down yardage, Eron Riley, first-year player out of Duke, making the catch for the Jet first down. Jaquan Jarrett on the hit.
Say that again. From where is he from?
He is from Duke. He is a Blue Devil. Is there anybody else in this booth who might qualify?
There's one, and it's just you just don't hear that very often. In fact, it's rare. So we'll give a shout out to a Duke Blue Devil, my faithful alma mater. Getting all those big alumni checks from me.
Yeah. Keep writing them, kid.
Right. He's not cashing.
McKnight a couple of yards up to the 30-yard line. Pickup of about 3. Ryan Rao, the rookie out of Portland State we were talking about, with the tackle from the middle.
You know, in last week against Cleveland, on the second play that he was in there, he blew up the running back and forced a fumble. The Eagles forced 3 of those last week. They recovered 2, but this kid's got a really good nose for the ball. He's very tough. He's very instinctive. Kind of guy that could very well stick on the practice squad. I mean, he's raised some eyebrows here. Let's just say that. NovaCare Center.
He's patrolling the middle tonight. Third man down on the depth chart. Quick jump off the line for the defensive line, and no chance at all for McElroy. Brandon Graham got in there, and that was a quick move to the inside.
Now, this is the strength of the team right now. This ability to get off the ball right now. He's going against the former Eagle, Austin Howard. Remember, Austin Howard was a practice squad guy here for 2 years. He beat him right off the snap. And that's what we've seen, I mean, in every single preseason game right there. Jim Washburn tracking another tackle for a loss there. You like the way that looks.
I believe they called it a sack, yet another for this Eagles defensive line in the preseason. 50 of them in all last year. McElroy running away from trouble and finding first down yardage as he scampers out of bounds across the 40.
That's what McElroy did a lot at Alabama with the Crimson Tide. They won a national championship with him at the quarterback position. And here's Brandon Graham going right there against Austin Howard, trying to spin out. The chase is on right here. They're rotating defensive linemen tonight and all year long. About every 4 plays, they'll just wave a new group in.
I guess one of the questions is, how deep is this defensive line going to go when you get to a rotation in the middle of the year? Tackle made by Jordan as he comes through the middle.
And that's the new weak side linebacker that just got named this week, Akeem Jordan, beating out Brian Roll. And all he's done is exactly that, made plays in this preseason. So they've been pleased. Akeem Jordan, who's in his 6th year, he's got 26 starts for Juan Castillo's defense over those 6 years. And so he's a dependable player. Had some injuries that he's bounced back from, but he's had a preseason where he's won that starting outside linebacker job.
Second down and 11 for the Jets. McElroy stepped up to the pocket, found nothing there. He's running again. And sliding for first down yardage at the Eagles 45.
Scott, you see the way McElroy just slid feet first? In this league, the rules are made for the quarterback. You slide feet first like this, you give up basically all the protection. They can't touch you right now. Jaquan Jarrett just lets him go. He's down when he slides, and we're all waiting for that man one day to be able to do it. But I don't think we're going to see that feet first slide from Mike Vick.
He actually threw one of those out there the first day that they were wearing helmets and shells up in Lehigh, and the crowd roared. Not much of a gain on first down for Bilal Powell. Once again, Ryan Rao right in the middle of it.
Yeah, Ryan Rao, I'm telling you, like he catches your eye. And that's what this 4th preseason game's got. Like, that's what you want to do as a player. Make the decision tomorrow night when this team has to be trimmed to 53. Make it the hardest decision they got to make. Make sure that somebody in that room is standing up and defending you and what you've done this preseason to keep.
McElroy chased out of the pocket.
Here it is.
And on the run, caught by Rao.
I'm telling you, this guy, I know there's something about him. And I know it's fourth preseason game, not the starters, but he keeps making plays. And here's the linebacker position. Ryan Rao on the bubble. I think the 6 on the left there, I think they're pretty solid, even though Casey Matthews has been banged up. They like the fact that he can cover backs and tight ends out of the backfield. But okay, we've mentioned number 47's name about 3 different times. And you see, when you start making plays, people start giving you water like that.
On third down, McElroy firing, found his man, and unable to bring it in was Jordan White, the rookie out of Western Michigan. He had first down yardage and he hung on, but instead the Jets are going to punt it away.
The Eagles are fortunate right there. That ball was dropped. And here's one of the most exciting players we've seen in preseason, Damaris Johnson. And every time he drops back now to field a punt, you kind of got to watch. It's much CTV what he can do.
In this case, a fair catch inside the 10. And the Eagles backed up for their second offensive drive coming up. Go to PhiladelphiaEagles.com for more info on how you can win tickets. Bud Light, it's a sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
That area will be jammed in about 2.5 weeks, Scott, when the Baltimore Ravens have their home opener. Here's what we've learned, I think, through 3 preseason games. We know that Nick Foles can play, and he's the backup. We know that they've got an 8 to 10 man rotation of the defensive line. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie is going to end up the season with at least 6 interceptions. Kendricks, the second-round pick, can play at linebacker, and the return game has been elevated by the rookies, Boykin and Johnson.
Some of the questions that have been answered here in the preseason. Foles almost had that streak come to an end. And not seeing the near side of the field as he was scrambling to the far side. Kopel's chasing him out of bounds.
Well, there's another play where he just buys time, extends the play in his end zone, doesn't take a sack, doesn't make a forced throw, and, you know, just has that mobility that we keep talking about. You don't have to be the fastest guy in the world to play this position, but you got to be able to keep your eyes down the field, and just by jumping over that down marker there, he avoided his first sack of the preseason.
On 2nd and 10. Set up the screen for Brown with an escort. Big time running room across the 25 and a dive out to the 29-yard line. 20 yards on the pickup and another Eagles first down.
Scotty glides, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He really does. I mean, it's a nice setup now. Take a look at Julian Vandervelde. He's 73, gets out front. Dallas Reynolds, good block there by Vandervelde. This guy is smooth. Nice job of acting by Foles, just kind of looking it off and then coming back to Brown like that. One thing about Brown, he's got good hands. Screens are a big part of this offense, and he can execute those.
2 tight ends set with both Brackett and Ford in the game, and Foles a little swing pass now. And off the spin move, Bryce Brown taken down by McIntyre out across the 30.
He just needs to play, Scott. He just needs to keep playing. Every rep that Bryce Brown gets is a rep that he never got in college. And so here's his backup, Chris Polk, who's also played really, really well. 2 rookies. Polk, a free agent out of Washington. We've talked a lot about him. 4,000-yard rusher at Washington. Quite a career there for the Huskies.
He's the long setback now on 2nd down. And right back to the ground. Polk this time not going to find a whole lot of room. Antonio Allen came up, shot through the gap, and the rookie out of South Carolina making the tackle for New York.
And we're going to talk to the general manager, Howie Roseman, in the second quarter today, and they've got decisions to make. I mean, obviously McCoy, Lewis, Bryce Brown competing for that backup job. Chris Polk fighting for a spot on this team. Battle at fullback. They've got, after tonight's game, they've got less than 24 hours to trim this roster. Some of those are hard decisions. They may keep all 4 running backs. They like them all.
Got to get it out to the 38 to keep the drive going. And Foles gets rid of it, banging it off the back of his right tackle, Dennis Kelly. But he avoided the sack, and he'll punt it away.
Well, let's take a look at Demetrius Bell here on this play. So he's beat quickly inside. See that? He overstepped. And that's his fear right now. I mean, Foles should have been called for intentional grounding. Just throwing that ball in the pocket, but that's Bell's hesitation right now. Is he wants to get his hands on guys quick, but boy, when he oversets like that, he's beat inside. he has the athletic ability to recover. He's just been slow to do that. Let's face it, in the NFC East, you see Jason Pierre-Paul, you see, Brian Arakpo and DeMarcus Ware twice a year.
That punt by Henry, hitting the ground, stopping dead, and downed by Rao. 34 yards on the kick, no return for New York. Andy Reid talking it over with the officials. There was a question about the flag that was thrown. It was thrown late. Let's get an explanation.
Correction. The hold was on the return team. 10 yards from the end of the run. First down.
A mild return, a mild turnabout, I should say, for the officiating crew as compared perhaps to what happened in New York. But did you see that last night?
Yeah, it was a disaster last night.
And it just kept getting worse and worse and worse.
And let's face it, I mean, Rex Ryan there, Andy Reid on our side, they have a pretty good grasp of the rules. They've been on the sidelines as head coaches a long time, and these officials can get intimidated by these head coaches if they don't know don't know how to get the rule out correctly.
So the Eagles defensive unit coming out onto the field, and again, this is just the portion of the defensive unit. That guy who certainly made an impression, Michael Kendricks, rookie out of California, not playing in tonight's game, but once this thing gets started in Cleveland in 10 days, he will be there.
Yeah, and he's really made an impression this preseason because he's got tremendous speed. He's a good tackler, and they needed to improve that. He's an every down linebacker. He's not going to come off the field. And so one of the things we learned in this preseason is that pick, the second-round pick from Cal, that was well spent. And, good job by Howie Roseman and the staff to be able to find him. His father, great running back at UCLA, played here briefly with the Eagles, but we're going to talk a lot about him for the next few years to come.
His father, Marvin, was on the training camp roster back in 1972, did not make it to the regular season, but Michael said that, he's always kind of been an Eagles fan. Dad had one of those satin Eagles jackets, and it was really cool, so.
Yeah, well, you remember when you had that members-only look, Scott?
Yeah, sure.
Back in the day.
I think I still do.
I'm sure. You don't throw that stuff out. It might come around, retro.
I like to think of myself as the last member.
There's Brian Roll, who came in this season as the starting outside linebacker. They just named Akeem Jordan in front of him, but it's not over for Brian Roll. I mean, he just hasn't played probably as crisply as he'd like right now. So it's a good opportunity for him tonight to sharpen things up.
Coming this fall, pick up specially marked Miller Lite and snap the QR code for your chance to win Miller Flight Deck tickets. For more information, go to PhiladelphiaEagles.com/Miller Lite. So the Jets bring it out on their own 23-yard line. Scoreless in a quick-moving game. That's Joe McKnight. A guy best known for being a kick return specialist for the Jets, all the way out to the 41-yard line, an 18-yard pickup. Brandon Hughes with the tackle.
And right up the middle, so there was some bad tackling involved there. O.J. Atogwe, who's missed a couple of games with injury, is the safety. But let's take a look at Ryan Rouch, see what he does here. Takes on the blocker now, get off the block. Maybe guilty of a little hold. And it's not easy playing linebacker in this wide 9 look where you're not going to get a lot of protection the way they do, let's say, in San Francisco and other cities. It takes a while to learn.
Couple more for McKnight out to the 43.
Let me just finish on that, Scott, because obviously the linebackers are a big story in Philadelphia, and do they have the right mix? And it's just big holes to fill inside, and you're going to give up yards in the ground game, but the sacrifice is you're going to get to the quarterback more frequently. And so there's a little bit of a trade-off there, and it's been frustrating for inside linebackers.
And does that make it tougher if you're somebody, for instance, like D'Amico Ryans coming in to try to adjust yourself to it in just a couple of preseason games?
Yes. It's not. You're not going to find it. You're not going to find the rhythm and the angle to the ball carrier as easily as you did maybe in Houston.
Good penetration into the backfield. Keenan Clayton was there, so was Cedric Thornton. And third down coming up for New York in the closing seconds on how it might have been the final play of the first quarter.
Scott, when I see a ball carrier stop for no gain, generally the defensive line makes the tackle. They're upfield, they're penetrating. Cedric Thornton got the first contact that time. And, he beat the guard upfield on his pass rush move and then got to the back in the backfield.
Cedric Thornton, set out of Southern Arkansas. Brian Roll. getting his opportunity to get some time in tonight. Final preseason game here in 2012. 1 quarter down and 3 to go. Still scoreless here in Lincoln Financial Field between the Eagles and the New York Jets. Being set to begin our second quarter. AAA card is useful in ways you might not expect besides roadside assistance. We offer auto insurance. For a quote on auto insurance the AAA way, call, come in, or visit AAA.com. As we said, second quarter set to begin here in Lincoln Financial Field. Eagles preseason football brought to you by Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Take it down to the field now to Jeff Skversky.
All right, thanks, Scott. We're here with Jason Kelsey, the Eagles starting center. You were a rookie, of course, last year. These guys that are out here tonight fighting for their jobs, what is that like if you can put yourself back into a year ago?
Well, last year when I got drafted and I was a 6th-round pick, I was really just trying to make the team. So there's a bigger sense of urgency because you got a 4-game span where you get to prove yourself to the team. And for the guys out here tonight, this is their final chance. This is the chance. On the offensive line, really there's 3 guys competing for 1, maybe 2 spots. And, that's the difference between $300,000, $400,000, which is a big deal.
It's a lot of money.
So these guys are really competing for, not just for themselves, but for their families, for everything else. So, this is a big game for those guys.
Having said that, how much more comfortable do you feel now working with Michael Vick and the first-team offense?
Well, having a whole year under my belt, especially full off season, Mike and I couldn't be, more fluid as a team. And especially with me and the rest of the offensive line, we're all intertwined now. We've been together for a full year. So, having all that experience, having all that experience is really led to me being able to play faster and play quicker.
All right, thanks, Jason. By the way, we love the beard. Let's go back upstairs.
Yeah, the beard does look good.
That's beyond Grizzly Adams right there.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I don't know what, there's things growing inside.
Well, I'll tell you what, you tell them you don't like it.
I didn't say I didn't like it.
All right.
I just could never grow one. In 4 lifetimes, I couldn't put one on like that.
Jets in Eagles territory, second down for the 43. And McElroy the give to Bilal Powell. And Powell's got himself first down yardage out of the 31-yard line now. And an opportunity for the Jets to continue to move the ball. And we're joined now by a guy who's become a familiar fixture when we're in the booth here at home. Howie Roseman, good to see you again.
We're talking about beards.
Yeah.
Are we really at that point of the game that we're talking about beards?
Well, we
got a lot going on down here.
We do. Let's get to the game. Let's get to the action down
That's
there.
what I'm talking about.
Because let's face it, these next 24 hours could be the busiest 24 hours of your entire season, and the decisions you have to make.
It's pretty hectic, especially now that they kind of cut a day out of the process.
Well, you're talking about they open the season next Wednesday, and normally you would have a preseason game on Thursday. How you'd have at least till Saturday or Sunday night to kind of filter through this and make these decisions. But this year it's 4 o'clock tomorrow night. They got to make these rosters.
Well, normally what you have is you have until Saturday at 6 o'clock. This weekend, we have Friday night at 9 o'clock. We have to have our cuts in. And then it's quick turnaround looking at all the players. You have to have your claims in by 12 o'clock on Saturday.
You're talking about guys that are cut from other teams right now, Howie, and that could be as many as 400 or 500 different players that you may have your eyes set on or have already pre-scouted.
And I think that's what we're trying to do a good job of, is getting a head start on the process and making sure we target some guys, we target certain positions, even for practice squad guys, so we're ahead of the curve.
Now, how much?
Holding, 66 offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Paul Lane with the call. That first down coming back for the New York Jets. How much of a percent? I guess what is the cutoff time from when you go from one mode to the other?
We have a personnel meeting tomorrow at 9:30. And after that, we're in the mode of trying to find players.
Now, as far as tonight is concerned, here you go. People will talk all the time about the fact, well, the last preseason game doesn't mean a whole lot. Regulars aren't playing. For a number of guys out here on the field, we talked about this tonight. That's simply not true.
No question. There are a bunch of players who are playing for spots, not only on our football team, but for looks around the league. People are going to be watching this tape of this game around the league, and their performance is going to seal the deal one way or the other.
All right, talk about just that process then. Starting tomorrow. Is all the coaches in the room with you and all the scouts? Is it you and Andy? Who's involved? And then just how involved would Andy get, who's obviously getting ready for Cleveland, but at the same time, he wants to see some of these guys that you're kind of bringing to him at the same time.
Well, I think the best way to talk about this process is talk about how long this process is. And it starts with the mini camps and evaluating the players every day. and then going into training camp and evaluating that film. And then you get into the preseason games and you add that on top of it. So we meet at training camp every night, and then when we come back to the facility, we'll meet every few days. And Andy and I will meet every day, multiple times a day. And so we have a pretty good feel of the players on our roster at this point.
One of the things we found out, Howard, and it was just sort of, made public this week, is Nick Foles is now the backup quarterback, the third-round pick from Arizona. He's obviously got a great opportunity to play with the injuries this year. Talk about some of the other positions that you think have really been upgraded then this season through preseason.
Well, I think going into the offseason, the backup quarterback spot is obviously an important spot, the most important position on our football team. And so we were looking at that spot. And then you get Nick Foles come in here and obviously demonstrate his ability. And it's stuff that you saw on film. I mean, when we went back and we talked about Nick Foles and we watched his play.
Yeah. You do a great job of that, by the way. You transition really well. Fourth down play. They elected not to go for the field goal. And McElroy diving. It's all in the spot. I think he got it. I believe he was given the first down.
I think the backup official was out of position myself in order to make the right spot.
That was a lot of...
they gave it to him.
Now, one of the things we were talking about as well is, as this is going on, how much are position coaches fighting for their individual players that they want to make sure they can keep?
Well, we give them the opportunity to talk about their players, and obviously they understand how they're doing in the classroom and on the field, so they get a voice there as well.
Good play inside by Frank Trotter on that.
On that fourth down play, before that fourth down play, what I was talking about was with Nick Foles, some of the things that we went back and looked at were him in adverse situations. So one of the games that sticks out was in his first year as a starter, as a sophomore, he went on the road to SC. He was behind in the fourth quarter. He led his team back with 3 minutes left to play. They won the game. And you see situations like that because this is a great city. This is a tough place to play.
Yeah.
You got to be mentally tough. And so for him to do those sort of things on the road in tough conditions, and you see that here during training camp and in the preseason.
Second down for the 20. Jets have found their way to the red zone for the first time tonight, and McElroy with the throw down to the 15-yard line to Royce Pollard, the rookie out of Hawaii.
Let's just take a look at the draft class this year, because we've spent a lot of time talking about these players because they've shown up. We're talking about Nick Foles, but Fletcher Cox is a guy that whether he's going to start or not start, he's going to be in that wave of rotation of guys. And look, Brandon Boykin could very well be your kick returner opening day. Dennis Kelly's the guy that we talked about here. He started last week against Cleveland. He's trying to get his started here tonight, trying to get him as much playing time as possible. And Bryce Brown starting tonight and looking like a guy that's got a great deal of promise.
Had a great extension and catch by Eron Riley for first down yardage. It'll be first and goal for the Jets now. And
the way the league is now, with the salary cap being flat over a couple of years, you need your young players to play. So we're not looking for redshirt years for our draft class. Now, you have certain positions where you have some depth and maybe these guys won't play as quickly as you want them to play. But when you talk about Michael Kendricks and Fletcher Cox and Brandon Boykin, guys that we're counting on for roles, Damaris Johnson, an undrafted rookie, is going to be our punt returner. So, I mean, I think that these guys are ready to play. I think they've shown the maturity level, and they've continued to improve throughout the preseason and in the exhibition games.
So first and goal coming up for the Jets. We continue our conversation when we come back. A scoreless game here in the second. As we come back to play, Tagwe leaving the field after that injury.
He's an interesting guy, Howard, because we all know him from St. Louis, where he had 24 interceptions, 22 forced fumbles, a real playmaker. But banged up a little bit in Washington last year, didn't really fit. But it's a guy who's been a great playmaker in this league.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to find safeties who can make plays on the ball. And then he is someone who early in camp was showing up, and then he had a hamstring injury, and we were looking forward to seeing him play a bunch tonight.
Otagwe being 10-2 over on the sideline. The Jets are knocking on the door, trying to score first here. The 9-minute mark of the second quarter. Play action. McElroy's got a wide open receiver, and that's going to be a touchdown. Terrence Ganaway, the rookie out of Baylor, with a catch in the end zone as the Jets take a 6-0 lead.
Just a bootleg there by McElroy here. Terrence Ganaway, the cousin of our own Jeremiah Trotter. Had a big year for Baylor a year ago, was the running back for RG3 in that program.
Now Nick Folk on to attempt the extra point as the Jets draw first blood in this final preseason game. And it is good. Andy Reid looking on as his defense gets beat down inside the 10-yard line on a bootlegging throw for a 7-0 lead for New York. Official sporting goods retailer of the Philadelphia Eagles, Sports Authority, all things sporting goods.
All right, one of the things I just wanted to ask you real quickly is you mentioned that tomorrow there's going to be all these cuts of just a glut of players out there in the market, but you've pre-scouted already, you and your staff, for the last couple weeks now, guys that may be released, and you've already kind of broken those guys down.
Yeah, what we did is we took guys that we had good college grades or good pro grades and teams with depth, and we got a first look at those guys. Watch the first 3 games. Now we'll add to it the 4th game from last night and tonight. We'll put that whole package together and have a total evaluation of each player.
Boykin going to get another opportunity to return a kick from a yard or 2 deep in the end zone. And cut down out across the 15 to the 16-yard line. And that is where the Eagles will start things off for their next offensive series, down by 7 here in the second. Green Mountain Energy. Our mission is to change the way power is made by using wind, sun, and water for good. Switch to Green Mountain Energy for good. So moments ago, we just saw the kick. Brandon Boykin a little bit slow to get up. They're working on, it looks to be his left knee.
I mean, everybody holds their breath here in this final preseason game, and you just hope for the best right there, and everything is just precautionary at this point.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You want to see these players, you want to see them perform at a high level, and at the same time you want to come out of it healthy.
Yeah. So Trent Edwards under center here, Howie, and he was a guy that finished up 2010 in Jacksonville, had a little bit of a shoulder injury, but he's come in here after a year off, and he's played well in the preseason.
He's a veteran guy. He started in this league. He shows a tremendous grasp of the offense. And so that's something that has been impressive to all of us as he's gone
here. It comes right out of Bill Walsh's system at Stanford, right?
That's exactly right.
Now, Edwards, you see the numbers, and a 96.9 quarterback rating here in the preseason. In his career, when he's had a quarterback rating of 80+, he's got an 11-2 record.
First round selection of Buffalo, and moved on to Jacksonville for a couple of seasons. Was out last year, but kind of resurrecting his career right now.
A lot of time to throw it, and finally finds Brown across the middle for a pickup out across the 20 to the 24-yard line.
How you said something to break that. Bryce Brown here, who catches this check down here. He's already touched the ball more in this first half than he did all last year at Kansas State.
Yeah, it's unbelievable for a guy with his lack of experience to be able to come in here at this level and pick it up so quickly and show an affinity for the pro game.
How important is it that he's able to do what we just saw, which is catch the ball out of the backfield?
When we scouted him, we saw that he had good hands, and he's learned to become a better pass protector, which is very important, obviously, in our offense. Very talented guy. And all you had to do was go back. You can watch his high school tape and see how talented he is.
Did you watch the high school? Did you go that far? Can you do that?
Yeah, you can go back and do that because you saw he was every recruiting service's #1 player in the country. So we went back, and then he goes to Tennessee as a freshman, and he plays. They had a back there, Hardesty was a second-round pick from the Browns, and we went back and we saw him. He had about 150 carries. Really, they were giving him the ball in tight situations, and so they trusted him. Lane Kiffin trusted him, and when he did the research and he talked to Lane, he said, this guy is so talented, and you could see it on film.
He came out, went to Tennessee. Trent Richardson came out, he went to Alabama. Those were the 2 best backs in the country.
How about standing in there for Edwards, getting him, still getting rid of the ball, and just one more piece of what he has been able to accomplish as he finds Chad Hall downfield, what Edwards has been able to do over the course of the entire preseason.
Well, this ability to stay in there and wait to the last second, take that blow right there, all right, and then deliver this kind of a throw in the middle of the field, right down the seam, which is where everybody's attacking in this league. As little as safeties can do, you love to see that. You love to see that toughness from your quarterback out.
Yeah, there's no question. And you see it. He did not have a lot of reps here in mini camps and early on in the preseason. When he got his opportunity, he was able to come in, run the offense, and put points on the board.
Brown taken down from behind, but as we said, Edwards has looked awfully good throughout this preseason. We've got an opportunity to see a guy that in the beginning it really seemed like he was shaking some rust off, but now has, and once again, I guess I shouldn't say that because the very first night he led the game-winning drive of the 2-minute offense.
Yeah, every time he's had an opportunity to take the team, he's gone down the field and put points on the board.
Second down with the ball in Jets territory. And Edwards getting himself out of trouble. And he gets hit hard on his way out. That's going to precipitate a flag.
Yeah. Late hit out of bounds. They got that one right. And he gives a little pat there. And it's good just seeing the guy get up from this kind of a hit.
Quentin Coples, the rookie draft pick.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 98, late hit out of bounds, 15 yards, automatic first down.
Is that a rookie mistake in game 4 of the preseason?
You know what? Quentin Coples just needs to play. I think that type of thing, there's a sideline there. That is a penalty in high school. It's a penalty in college. They know that they're protecting the quarterback. Probably something that doesn't need to be reviewed in the game.
So that's going to move the Eagles down to the Jets' 28-yard line now. They try to answer back at the 5.5-minute mark left here in the first half.
Now, this is what we've seen from Trent Edwards, though, you know, as Mike Vick looks on, is he's moved the team. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter what group is with him and who they're playing against. He's been able to generate offense.
Really, that's the bottom line for a quarterback in the National Football League.
And once again, Brett Brackett, the tight end, sitting down at a soft spot. He'll have a first down to the 15-yard line.
He's an interesting guy to me, Howard, because he came to Penn State as a quarterback. They moved him to wide receiver, and now you're trying him out at tight end here. And he's a guy, he's a big guy that, you know, was a big target in the middle of the field like that.
Yeah, and we had a chance to evaluate him at Penn State and then look at him on the Dolphins last year in training camp. He didn't get a lot of reps. Then we brought him in on the practice squad, and he did a great job on the show team. Caught a lot of balls, and obviously that's on the cards. And he gets in here, he learns the offense, he works hard in the offseason, and he's got a great opportunity here to show what he's got here in the 4th preseason.
Brackett's the man in motion now on first down, and Edwards hit as he throws. That ball was going to be caught by Iguanagu, the rookie out of UMass. Nice catch under pressure down at the 11.
Yeah,
he did a great job with the pronunciation of that name right there.
He's been good with that.
I used to do CAA football.
Hey, one of the other area here, you know, that you are going to put together after the cutdowns is your practice squad. So that's a 7-man squad right now?
It's an 8-man squad, and when we look at our roster, it's 53 guys that are on your roster, and then plus the 8. So we really look at 61 players we want on our football team.
On second down. Out of play action. And Ford to the inside. Gonna have a first down. It'll be first and goal down to the 2. A 9-yard pickup for Chase Ford.
So just going on that point there, we go through a lot of scenarios. So if we go light at this position, then we'll add that to the practice squad and make sure we get them. In the same token, we want to have guys on the practice squad that we think can come in and play during the course of the season, because history shows you're going to need those guys.
It's a long season, 16 games. Guys get hurt. Guys miss weeks. Get a chance to elevate a guy from here to there, you know, as the season moves on.
Those are talented guys we're looking at there.
Handsomely paid, the talented guys there, Howard. Yes, you're counting on that trio of Macklin, Jackson, and LaShawn McCoy, the young guns.
Edwards trying to go 7 for 7 on the drive. Instead, elects to throw it away with pressure coming.
It'd be a nice note for me to end right here on a touchdown, wouldn't it?
Well, you know what? That's kind of what you do when you stop by. Is it? Actually, I think you left right before the touchdown
I was
last
feeling
time.
like, you know, we had a couple guys come off the field while I was here first couple of minutes.
Let's take it out of the field to Jeff.
String. All right, guys, thanks a lot. We have a quick injury update. O.J. Atagwe, the safety, has a hamstring injury. His return is questionable. Of course, he missed the last 2 preseason games with a hamstring injury. Brandon Boykin, a knee contusion, but he'll go back in. Guys?
That is good news, and there's better news. Bryce Brown finding the inside of the pylon and into the end zone for the touchdown.
Howie, tell me what you see on that touchdown run from that man. A lot of speed, isn't there?
You're talking about a big guy who can get to the outside. He can run inside or outside. He breaks to the outside, no one's going to catch him.
Nice block on the outside by Chase Ford to get to the corner. But that's a skill that either you have or you don't have. That ability to bounce it and then look at that pylon and beat the entire defensive team to it.
Best question of all, though, as we wrap up with you here is tonight, 12:30. Baldy and I will be back in our beds going to sleep. Where will you be?
I'll be watching this game.
Thanks so much for being with us. We
Thanks
appreciate it.
Howie, thanks.
You guys did a great job all preseason.
Appreciate it, buddy.
See you during the year.
Trent Edwards leading yet another scoring drive, and Brown into the end zone for the first time in an Eagles uniform. Today with the Eagles, and receive text alerts directly from the team to your mobile device by texting Eagles to 82565. Rule the gridiron, rule the stadium, rule the air. Verizon Wireless, official wireless provider of your Philadelphia Eagles. Text stop to cancel, text help for help. Message and data rates may apply. Beautiful evening. Sun's starting to go down, but just beginning to rise in a career of Bryce Brown. His first Eagle touchdown, 47 total yards of offense, and the score that knocks this game up at 7.
Always a nice way to kind of get notices on the kickoff coverage team. You can make that tackle. And Curtis Marsh does. Go to Gilliard, it's nice.
Good kick coverage, and the Jets buried back inside their own 20 at the 16-yard line as they begin their next drive late here in the second quarter. Here in the second quarter, Eagles preseason football brought to you by Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. As we wind down this first half, let's take it down on the field to Jeff.
All right, thanks, guys. We're here with defensive end Trent Cole. Trent, when you look at this depth at the defensive line, how impressed are you that all the guys you have the ability to rotate in and out?
Well, so the best thing about it is that, when you come off that field, you got a guy who you can call a starter, is come in behind you and be 100%. And like I said, it saves everybody, the best feeling about it is I know when I go back in there, I'm going to be 100%, and I can go 4 plays as hard as I can. And I know somebody behind me, we can rely on each other to get the job done.
An NFL high, 50 sacks for this defensive line last year. How much does Jim Washburn push you guys for even more this season?
Like I said, it's great. It's great to have a coach like that. You don't find too many coaches like that, and he pushes because he wants us to be the best. You know what I'm saying? He wants us to be the best, and and he's a player's coach, and we don't know what we could do without him. He's our motivation.
All right, Trent, thanks for joining us. You can go back to watching the game. Let's go back upstairs.
I thank you, guys. A penalty on the New York Jets as they were just trying to run it out from deep in their own end as Dennis Landell was a product of Delran Township at Holy Cross High School, not far from here. It's called for the holding penalty. And now the Eagles defensive line really digging in and coming to the inside. Also Brian Roll right there supporting from the weak side linebacker position.
Well, here's Brian Roll, actually in the middle because of the offset formation. He's going to come in here, nice fill, first contact, and then Jaquan Jarrett and Ryan Rao finish. And look, Brian Roll kind of knocked down this week from the starting outside position. How does he respond? Tonight he's having a good game. He's responding well.
Angry Birds have teamed up this offseason to create an Eagles-themed Angry Birds Facebook game. The game launches this Tuesday, September 4th, and to celebrate, the Angry Birds will be taking over Love Park with a free event and live version of the game. Join us downtown to kick off the Eagles season and play the game with Eagles players. As you can tell, the players have been working on their technique. For more information on Back to Football Week events, visit PhiladelphiaEagles.com.
I've seen clips of that. It's hilarious stuff. People are going to tune in to watch that Angry Birds.
Seems like the exact type of thing that you would do.
Well, there's Rex Ryan. His father was an Angry Bird.
Yeah, he was.
Buddy, and I've heard a lot of stories from Rex and his twin brother Rob and the days when they were ball boys here in Philadelphia, and that's where the roots are in the NFL, right here in Philly.
You think they didn't look like twins before? Rex lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, he does.
He looks good.
Yeah.
Flag down on the play as McKnight tries to find his way to the outside. The Eagles had taken that timeout. They still had the 2-minute warning, trying to see what they could do about possibly getting the football back before the end of the half.
Sure.
Offsides. Defense number 54. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That's amazing. Brandon Graham has done a great job at times of getting into the backfield and anticipating that snap count, and sometimes he's been too quick.
Yeah, and I think that's, I don't know if he was too quick or if he just timed it right. It looked like he was just off on the ball, right on the snap. Jim Washburn, you know, tracking everything down, the offsides. He wasn't happy last week with the offsides by the defensive line.
And the Eagles have just used a second timeout. Jim Washburn talking it over. Talk about a coach that certainly does have depth and almost an embarrassment of riches in terms of the players that he's been able to see over the course of this preseason. And I got to tell you, to a man, they have been impressive.
They have. We've seen depth. We've seen playmakers, forced fumbles in every game thus far. And really, that's what they're going to be here to start the season until they kind of begin to gel as the season goes on. The defense line is going to be the stars and the playmakers of this defense.
I am on my game tonight.
And let's face it, and part of the defensive line success, Scott, is the play of the secondary. When Juan Castillo gets, you know, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie and Nnamdi like locking up his receivers, it's going to give more time for Trent Cole to get to the quarterback. And that's defensive ends. Philip Hunt has had a great camp. Vinny Curry shows promise. Darryl Tapp has had a great camp, but look, let's face it, they can't keep everybody.
You said that right at the very beginning when you and I were talking at Lehigh. Hunt and a big push on the outside, and that throw well up over the top and incomplete.
Good coverage that time by Jaquan Jarrett and Brandon Hughes. Jarrett played his college ball right on this field for Temple. Last year's second-round pick, and Jaquan Jarrett did not play well in the first game. It wasn't any secret. We pointed it out. But he just, you know, he was drafted high because he was a great hitter. And you can't be a great hitter, Scott, until you really know what you're doing. And you can just cut it loose and play fast. The more he plays, the more he sees, I think the bigger the hits you'll see from him. And look, nobody in this league is going to get by with two safeties. You're going to need 3 and 4 to get through a season.
Jets will run the ball against nickel coverage at 3rd and long, and back to about the 16-yard line, that's all. The Eagles will use that final timeout as Brandon Graham and company have held here. They've gotten what they wanted. They still have the 2-minute warning, and they're going to get the football back with 2:35 to go here in the first half.
And it's good because we'll get a chance here possibly to see a return from Damaris Johnson, who I know it's one of those decisions. Is he quicker than fast? Is he quick and fast? Makes a lot of people miss. Almost broke a couple last week against Cleveland.
We've seen what Damaris Johnson's capable of doing. It's a good part of the reason why he's going to make this team.
Well, he's been a big play player for him. And when he gets the ball in his hands, he's exciting. He's got a Jake break in his arsenal, and he can stop and start now. Look, I don't know many teams in this league that are going to go into week 1, Scott, with 2 rookie returners. For the Eagles, it's Damaris Johnson for the punt return, and in the kickoff return, Brandon Boykin. That shows a great deal of confidence in their ability to field the ball and protect it.
I'm not saying that there's any kind of a comparison at this point. It would be unfair to do it this early in his career. Do you see any comparison between him and Deshaun Jackson and the way they move?
The way that they move, yes. But Deshaun Jackson flies. He literally glides when he runs. And when he gets to that 6th gear that he has, I don't know that really anybody in this league can run with him. So he's just different like that.
We were talking to Boykin about that. And he said, you know, once he starts going, yeah, I can't. I just can't.
Got a lot of room to run here.
Near side, a little bit of blocking in a lane, and out across the 45. An 11-yard return out to the 46-yard line.
If you could get 11 yards in return, Scott, that's a first down. You change field position like that. In the wide receivers, we mentioned Deshaun and Jeremy Maclin, of course, and Avant Isal Riley Cooper we haven't seen, with the shoulder injury. He's missed all of camp. Marvin McNutt was a draft pick out of Iowa. Chad Hall's an interesting guy because he still has a redshirt year available if they decide to do that. And redshirt is practice squad, where they could put him there. He could still be on the roster. Call him up if they need him.
Edwards doing what he has done best this preseason, running the 2-minute offense, and Gilliard coming back nicely for the ball down to the 44-yard line, close to a first down.
And I have liked Marty Gilliard this training camp, Scott. He basically is caught just about, I mean, he dropped the one go route early in the first quarter, but he's caught just about everything thrown in practice and in games. He's caught their attention. He was a mid-round draft pick of the St. Louis Rams coming out of the University of Cincinnati, and really nobody flourished there. And so, just a depressed organization. He's played well here.
This time it's Johnson. And down inside the 40-yard line. That's going to reach the 2-minute warning now here in the first half as the Eagles try to take it downfield behind Trent Edwards once again. The Eagles and Eagles Youth Partnership would like to thank all of the fans and corporate donors who made 2012 Flight Night such a tremendous success. Proceeds from the event will directly impact children in our community through health and educational programs. Thank you once again for your support.
That was a great night last Sunday night here. Lincoln Financial Field, a chance for the fans to really mingle, get together. I was just looking at that promo also, Scott, for fantasy football. Have you got your team all drafted?
Not drafted. Monday night.
Monday night?
Monday night.
Yeah, nothing gets in the way of that, right?
No.
You've done your homework, your scout reports?
Not a bit.
Okay, okay, just going to wing it.
Take a look at the passing yards. A lot of that is from Edwards, who led his team on an 80-plus yard drive. He's thrown for 84 yards here in the first half on 8 out of 9.
He's been good in this part of this time of the game, the final 2 minutes of the half of the game. He's led this team against Pittsburgh, that end of the game drive for a score to win that game. He's been productive.
Of course, that guy's been incredibly productive. Nick Foles, who came into camp and looked first couple of days like he might have been, I don't know, a little bit confused, trying to learn his way, find his way. Well, he found it. He's a number 2 quarterback coming into the season.
Yeah, he's trying to grow a little something on the chin there too, Scott.
Yeah. Let him talk to the center. Edwards to Hall, who sat down in the middle of the defense. Ball came out. Now the question is, was it on the ground? Was he on the ground as it did?
Well, the officials are pointing that he was down, and so that's what they ruled. But another good job of just seeing the field and being patient by Trent Edwards. And yeah, I don't know. They're hurrying up to get the playoffs, so it's not reviewed.
Nope.
Well, they're late. They're going to review this, and it's from upstairs in the final 2 minutes of the half. So it's a booth review.
Stop the game. It's going to be a replay? Yeah, replay. Shit.
All right. They were late getting this.
Hard to tell from there.
Yep.
Hold on. It's going to be a review. Previous players under review.
I think it's out.
Yeah, I do too.
The question is that he caught the ball. Was there possession before it came out?
Well, that could be another. Once they go under the hood to review the play, they review everything. So they could review possession and whether he had, whether it was a catch or not a catch. And Andy Reid's probably upset. He thought the ball was snapped before any whistle was blown for a review.
Not to mention the fact that his quarterback got hit.
Yeah.
And Trent Edwards saying, thank you very much, guys.
I mean, he's going to talk to the umpire about that right now. All right, so let's see. Is there any part down here? Is his knee down? No. That ball's coming out. But now, are they going to rule that a catch, Scott, like you said? It's a bang-bang play.
Nick Baylor making the play to strip the ball, and we'll have to wait and find out. We're a minute 27 seconds away from halftime. Coming up at the half, Sovereign Sights and Sounds. Take a look at stats and back at first half highlights. Coming up at the half. Coming up in our second half, as soon as we're done with halftime, Mr. Lurie will be joining us.
The president, the CEO, and addressed the media today in kind of a State of the Union address. And a lot of strong opinions about his position, about what he expects from this team this year. Pretty forthright and honest about everything. Said 8-8 wouldn't be good enough in that speech today.
He did.
Yeah, and it's not going to be good enough. 8-8 a year ago, nobody was pleased. He's looking down there at this review, and as Mike Vick and Marty Morningweg are as well. And look, under the microscope going forward are these officials. And can they hold up? What do we expect from them? Can their deal be done here in the 11th hour?
Well, the NFL did come out and say that the season was going to begin with the replacement officials. Said that yesterday. And clearly that is not, in the best interest of anybody involved in the National Football League. You're hoping that that comes to an end sometime soon.
Well, it is an incredibly difficult game to officiate, and we'll find out how difficult it is if they don't have the regular officials on the field.
After review, the play on the field stands.
Wow.
Okay. So they didn't see evidence that ball came out.
Of course, with the old line of indisputable visual evidence. I guess that was disputable.
Well, I think that's the only time we ever use that word, undisputable, is when, or indisputable, whenever my English gets correct. The only time I ever use it is when it comes down to a challenge.
Indisputable didn't come up a whole lot at Duke.
Can't remember using it, Scott. Not in a sentence.
That guy's not too happy about that call. The Eagles still alive on their drive now. The clock running at $1:20 to go here in the first half. Edwards got hit as he threw. And look at that! How about it? Touchdown! A prayer to the end zone as he got hit, and Gilliard hit the brakes. They flew right by. 31 yards on the score.
Well, Marty Gilliard just caught a second touchdown pass of the preseason, and this was a great catch, a good reaction right here. You can see just, I don't know if he was going to Marty or Chad Hall. They were both so close to each other, but that's a great reaction on an underthrown ball. And that's what you love. The receivers come back and help out the quarterback.
Late flag down in the end zone. Is that going to be on Gilliard? Was there some sort of celebration, something or other that went on?
Well, I didn't see the helmet come off.
No, nor did I. Now it comes off.
Yeah.
Not even all the way off.
I didn't see that part.
Andy Reid's reaction led me to believe.
After the score, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 19. On the offense, the penalty will be assessed on the kick.
All right.
There's your score.
All right, let's see. Well, I guess that move right there, spinning the ball, kind of taunting. I don't know. I think he deserves a right to celebrate. That's deserves a right to celebrate right there. I didn't see anything illegal about that.
That's
group
ridiculous.
Celebration or anything.
That's ridiculous.
It is supposed to be about fun, Scott. This is entertainment. The kid just caught a heck of a play. I got no problem if anything Marty Gilliard just did.
Second touchdown of the preseason. Andy Reid unhappy with the call. Also had something to say to Marty Gilliard, though, as he was coming off and was pointing back to the other side of the field saying, look, this is where we got a kick from now. Because of that, I don't think he's all that happy with any of the part of the way that turned out.
Well, you're right, because you're going to back up 15 yards here to kick this off. The Jets are going to probably get good field position. Let's take a look at Demetrius Bell here, who's going to be protecting on the outside. He gets driven. McIntyre drives him back, and that's Edwards taking a hit and delivering that pass. And that's not what Demetrius Bell has been coached to do, to give up that much room at left tackle and to be collapsed like that. He's been coached to get his hands on the defensive end or outside linebacker quicker, earlier, and stop that kind of penetration.
The numbers on Trent Edwards, though, they continue to be terrific. And no, that was not a perfect throw, but that's a receiver helping you out, making a play. 10 out of 11 here in the first half. 4-play, 54-yard drive, and he gets him down the field and into the end zone again.
Yeah. Look, if the third quarterback job is up for grabs, Trent Edwards is doing everything he can to nail that down. He's given him every reason in the world to keep him in place of Mike Kafka, who we haven't seen since the first preseason game.
And if not, then Trent Edwards is probably making a case to appear on an NFL roster at some point or other as we go into week one.
Yep. We've seen quarterback movement already. Vince Young was released in Buffalo, and then they picked up Tavares Jackson as a backup, but Trent Edwards knows that there's 31 other teams there that around the league that may be looking for a backup.
He's done everything that he could do at this point.
No doubt, especially after sitting out last year. I mean, he's come in and Nick Foles cemented at the number 2 position behind Mike Vick. Kafka and Edwards fighting it out for that third spot on the roster.
It's all Edwards' game for the rest of the way here. And Jordan White with a good return after the penalty, so good field position with 1:07 to go in the half. And as we said, all 3 timeouts for the New York Jets.
Well, it's a good chance for the defensive line to tee off. You know, the Jets will probably start this off with some kind of screen or draw. They've got their 3 timeouts left, so they'll be using this good field position at the 35 to see if they can get some kind of scoring drive going. One thing we haven't seen from the Eagles hardly at all this whole preseason, Scott, is any kind of a blitz. It's basically been 4-man pressure each game.
So McElroy has the pressure coming. He's done this so far all night. Late flag coming out. Roll really hit him. He elected not to slide, so he basically put himself right in harm's way.
This flag is on the other side of the field. Looks like it's coming back.
Holding, 62 offense, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Well, here's the hit by Brian Roll. Yeah, I mean, that's all legitimate. Are you kidding me? Just threw a shoulder into him. Good call. I mean, McElroy probably better off sliding feet first and not taking that kind of hit from Brian Roll, who looks like he's playing angry tonight after the move they made it outside linebacker, replacing him with Hakeem Jordan.
The National Football League. Keep the fucking...
And McElroy throwing. He had a lot on that throw to the far sideline, and Jordan White, who steps out of bounds with 46 seconds to go in the half.
There's Brandon Boykin in the slot, position that he's looking to nail down. Right now, he's got help over the top from the safety. One thing that young guys got to do when they know they've got safety help over the top, go run and undercut that throw right there. Get your hands on that ball.
Second down, McElroy in some trouble, can't get away.
There you go,
Fred Trotter.
Oh, Trotter.
Yep, rookie out of Memphis.
First sack for Trotter this preseason. Here he is inside. Nice little game that time. Good job by Vinny Curry, kind of freeing him up. Yeah, that's what you call a tackle end game. The tackle goes first, the end comes around like that.
Oh, wow. And Trotter's getting the congratulations from his teammates as he comes off. Undrafted free agent out of Memphis.
Babin giving him a little pat on the helmet. And those stunts that they just ran, Scott, a lot of those are unscripted. Those are just things that you fall into. They're taught by Jim Washburn, and that was well executed.
Pick up your Eagles Coke Zero packaging this football season to win game tickets and other great prizes. Visit mycokerewards.com/win. Trotter spent part of this offseason with Jacksonville, was released, signed by the Eagles. Sean Jackson. Now, here's a question for you. For the guys who are not playing tonight, is there anything that they bring to the table here this evening? Encouragement of their teammates, able to talk them through certain things, or is this one of those nights where they're just looking on and saying, this is the last night of relaxation for a long time?
Well, it's a relaxation night, but a lot of them were warmed up before the game, Scott. They went through a normal pregame ritual and warm-up, but they know that this is the best their body is going to feel. You know? Like the battles start in 10 days. Mike Vick's still, ribs still healing up right now. So, look, it's nutrition for 16 weeks starting September 9th.
Defensive line getting off the line on the snap count. And good penetration. They buried McElroy, but he found first down yardage out to the 49 with 33 seconds to go.
Yeah, King Dunlap hopes that he doesn't have a visor on for any other game the rest of the season. He hopes he's got that helmet close by and that he tries to fill those big shoes of Jason Peters that won't be with this team this year. King Dunlap and Trent Cole go at it each day in practice one-on-ones, and here's King Dunlap last week. pretty solid game. I think he's got to finish better. He's always at 6'9". He's always got to work to bend his knees and get low. The guys that will give him the trouble in the league this year are the guys that are short, guys that can get underneath him.
I don't know that unless you have stood next to him, you have any kind of a feel for how big this guy is.
He's the biggest tackle I've seen in football since the big stud down in Baltimore stepped out. You know, Jonathan Ogden. Ogden was 6'9". He was 340. Well, actually, they had a scale in Baltimore back then that went up to 350 pounds.
Right.
And it just, they would step on the scale, they would pin it, they would step off. If it went to 380, it may go to 380 for a lot of those guys.
We just never knew.
Just never knew.
33 seconds left to go here in the half. One timeout for New York. McElroy trying to lead a scoring drive and got the completion into Eagles territory at the 45. Ryan Roll going to make the tackle, and Philip Thomas there as well.
Jets with still one timeout left and 15 seconds right now, trying to get lined up correctly.
Well, for a second they were going to clock it, but they did not. Down to 10. Yeah, they did clock it. They lost a lot of time.
Well, let me just say this, Scott. I mean, the fundamental flaw there is just take the snap from the center rather than the shotgun snap. You're going to probably save yourself maybe a second or 2 seconds on that play.
Plus, you're waiting for your receiver to get to the far side of the field. Rex Ryan's team finally finding the end zone for their first preseason touchdown.
Yeah. Well, they had that stat there last week that the Jets are the first team since 1977, the Atlanta Falcons, that haven't scored a touchdown in their first 3 preseason games.
McElroy dumping it off. Time running short. They've got to get a timeout quickly, and they do with 2 seconds to go. And on the play,
it's a good job by Brandon Boykin of getting Bilal. Oh, look at that.
yep.
Brandon Graham getting McElroy down. Those kind of hits take their tolls on any quarterback. Good tackle by Boykin, though, to keep Bilal Powell in bounds and forcing the Jets to use their final timeout.
And forcing them into either some sort of a Hail Mary, or it looks like they're going to bring Nick Folk out onto the field. Andy Reid's team going to be defended field goal now on an attempt that will be 57 yards. Not going to be 58. They're going to give them a little bit extra. Try to get this long kick away.
They just had a kicking battle in New York. Nick Folk, Josh Brown. Nick Folk, the winner of that battle.
So 58 yards on the attempt. That'll be the final play of the first half. That's a long way. How about that?
Yeah.
He got it.
He just squeezed it in. This, I think it's about as close to the crossbar as you can get without hitting it.
Directly traceable back to the penalty that gave him the shorter field.
Yep, you're right.
And the lead, 14-10 here at halftime.
Look at this. Just by that much.
Heck of a kick. The Eagles happy with their offensive performance in the first half, 187 yards in total offense. 1 half down, 1 to go here in this final preseason game. And the Eagles with a lead here at the half at Lincoln Financial Field over the New York Jets. Actually, the start of the third quarter coming, and Trent Edwards and company another opportunity to come out and try to move it down the field. Jets will have the football first to begin this second half, but we're going to get an opportunity now to talk with Jeffrey Lurie, who joins us here in the booth. Welcome. We appreciate you being here.
Thanks, Scott.
Jeffrey, I know earlier today, before the game started, you had kind of your State of the Union address to the media, to the fans, and the one thing that you just kept stressing was the fans in Philadelphia and how special they are to you and to the organization.
I tell you, there can be no better city to own a football team. Incredibly smart, incredibly dedicated, and through all the ups and downs with Andy's family and a lot of us, just incredibly supportive, and we just want to win so badly for the best fans in America.
And you take a look at it, and you mentioned it several times while you were talking to the media today. It's a great city to own a football team in because of not just the fan support, but also the fan level of interest, which never wanes.
No, you're right. I mean, even in even your preseason game that we played against the Patriots, the local ratings were higher than the Olympics. It's just the level of football passion here is off the charts, and I know from other cities and other owners that it just doesn't occur automatically like that. This is an incredible football city.
Jeff, we'll have a chance to talk about your look at the team here. You've been out at training camp, watching the games, but a couple items of interest. Brian Westbrook retired as an Eagle this week, and we had the passing of Stevie Van Buren this past week, who was very linked to championship teams, and I know that you got a chance to really know him and really come to admire him.
He was one of the first people that greeted me in Philadelphia. The most humble athlete I've ever met. Unbelievable.
Starting play here in the second half. Jets buried back in their own end, and a flag down on the play as it gets out across the 15-yard line.
I've also watched a lot of tape on him from the past, and this was a dominant, as you know, football player.
Yeah.
Dominant, superstar, and yet incredibly humble.
Defense 75, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So, Jeffrey, one of the things that one of the objectives here this offseason is you really kind of took a look at some members of the team that you locked up long-term right here. Here's the list of guys from Cullen Jenkins down to your running back, LaShawn McCoy, and trying to follow up on that terrific year he had a year ago.
Well, we've been blessed with some phenomenal young talent, and it's so hard to find the Shady McCoys and Deshaun's, and of course Trent Cole over the years, and Evan Mathis was a find from last year, and Todd Harriman's is one of the hardest working guys we've ever had. It was the time to do that for all these guys. They're the core of the football team, and you build around your core. And granted, we're already a very good football team, I think, but you got to retain your core players. These are high character, high ability players.
And added to that core was, I think, we've been out of practice a bunch here, Jeffrey, this summer, and you can't help but sort of admire the contributions that these rookies have been able to make. And I know it's preseason, but the optimism, I think, is as high as I can remember for a draft class.
I agree, Baldy. Usually you reserve and you say maybe 2-3 years we can judge this class, and that's true, but they pop out at you. And it's not just the first 3 rounds, Nick Foles and Michael Kendricks and Vinnie Curry and, of course, Fletcher Cox, but it's Bryce Brown, 7th round, Damaris Johnson, undrafted, Brandon Boykin, 4th round. These guys, as you know, you've been out there with me, training camp, they pop out.
We continue along here. The Jets at the 30-yard line and trying to move the football against the Eagles defense. One of the questions that I had, we talked about the fans and the passion level that exists here in Philadelphia, which is absolutely incredible. Now, you have one eye, which is the team owner business eye. I know as a football fan, there's got to be something bubbling in you in each game, an emotional level. Is it hard to keep that in check, or can you balance that thing?
It's not able to be balanced because you're about a 98% fan and a 2% owner, and the 98% dominates every moment of my life. Occasionally there's very hard decisions you got to make, but basically you're obsessed with the Eagles, the sport, and you wake up and you just can't wait to get going. So it's 98% fan, I would call it.
Jeffrey, you said in your State of the Union address tonight that 8-8 is not going to be good enough. That your expectations and what you are expecting and demanding here, it's much greater than that.
Well, it is, Baldy, because we have a very good football team talent-wise, and it's time for us to have substantial improvement over last year. We were all disappointed. We brought in a lot of very good players, but maybe the short off season or the lack of an off season really impacted us. Change in defensive philosophy somewhat, and but the key, I think, is the fact that 5 of the players we brought in last year are big-time contributors to this team.
Nnamdi,
Cullen Jenkins, trading for DRC. Evan Mathis turned out to be a real find, and I'm forgetting one, but it's I know we had 5 primary guys that and just really
we traded for D'Amico Ryans this year.
D'Amico this year, tremendous leader, and I think you look around the league, compare rosters, and this is one of the better ones. So 8-8 is certainly not acceptable, and we do expect everybody in the organization, Andy and every coach and every player, and everyone who works in the building assumes we're going to have a much better season.
Jeff, you've been around this team. Obviously, you're in the building quite a bit. Just the overall attitude of this team, and really, it's one thing for you to make that expectation, but the players have to do it. So, can you feel an optimism about this team as you get ready here in 10 days for Cleveland?
Baldy, it's a good question because I try to compare it to the past. This is probably the most excited football team in terms of players I've seen ever since the first mini camps and OTAs. It's a carryover maybe from our ending last year with 4 straight wins. It did carry over. The energy level, as you've seen, is extraordinary, and the optimism is great. They think they can beat anybody, and now they know the expectation is they need to go out and beat everybody.
All right, well, we certainly thank you for being here. Now, what do you got on this punt return? What do you think?
Well, love this Damaris Johnson.
Don't you?
Yeah. And,
except he's not going to get an opportunity.
Well, he was smart. He didn't charge it,
Good decision.
He's been great, and he just seems to belong from day one.
Jeffrey, thanks so much for being
Scott,
here. We appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Jeffrey,
Baldy, always
good luck
great.
this season.
Thanks so much.
Underway, and the action continues, including the hard hitting here in the second half. Preseason, visit PhiladelphiaEagles.com/Miller Lite to find a location near you where you could win Miller Flight Deck tickets. Good spot to watch a game.
It is, and it's a great night to be out here, and they've seen some good quarterback play, as we've seen from the backups throughout the preseason. Nick Foles and Trent Edwards have both taken advantage of their opportunities. There's those are the numbers. Nick Foles hasn't been sacked. 6 touchdowns, no interceptions. Edwards.
How do I circle that interception thing on the side?
You like that?
Nothing.
Yeah, you got to keep that. That's the biggest thing for this Eagles team this year, is to take care of the football. Those 24 turnovers a year ago is what cost them ball games and the division title.
Edwards realized nothing was there. Wisely decided to slide his way out to the 44-yard line for a 6-yard pickup.
See, that's the rules. You can slide feet first. You give your body up. You save the hit, and you just love to see Mike Vick do this right here in the open field. Right there, you can't lay a glove on him. You get up and dust yourself off and get back and live for another play. And that's obviously going to be a big key to the Eagles season, is keeping Mike Vick healthy. He can help himself if he does that.
And Edwards throwing, that time just a little bit low and behind Chase Ford, his tight end, who on a slide couldn't quite bring it in.
That's probably the first and only bad throw of the night for Trent Edwards. 10 of 11 at halftime, and had Chase Ford open on that bootleg.
He's the 7th all-time leading passer at Stanford. There have been a couple of decent quarterbacks that come out of Stanford.
Yeah, like maybe 3 #1 overall picks.
Right.
Like John Elway.
Yep.
#1 overall pick. Yeah. He was there with, Bill Walsh was still in the building when he was there. And he learned the offense basically from Bill Walsh, who basically is the architect of this whole offense.
Has time here and has a first down on the catch made by Iguanagu out of the 50-yard line.
And going back to the Bill Walsh days, he always had a fullback that could catch the ball out of the backfield. From the Tom Rathman days, and come back here in Philadelphia, and he's always had a fullback that could catch the ball. Spread the field, get 5 receivers out, make it difficult to defend all of them.
We said Iguanagu out of UMass. Played just about every position there was, including being a linebacker at one time. Fullback, tight end, lead running back. Lead running back here is Chris Polk, who gets spun around at the line of scrimmage and picks up a yard.
And it looked like it'll be Chris Polk here in the second half of this game. Him and Bryce Brown trading reps, but Polk will get the majority of them. He knows that he knows what this game is all about tonight for him. Could be an opportunity where it makes it really difficult for the Eagles not to keep the 4 running backs currently on the roster. He was getting the call from Trent Edwards.
And Edwards checks down. Iguanagu trying to show a move to the outside, but Garrett McIntyre's had a very good game for the New York Jets. Takes him down to the open field, and Edwards slow to get up after a hit.
Yeah, well, he's taken a few of them tonight. And you got Dennis Kelly now starting at left tackle. Gives up the pressure there late, and you can see that the head the whiplash to the head on Trent Edwards. It's the whiplash that players suffer concussions from in this league, and it's such a big emphasis is kind of looking and studying the whole head trauma injury thing.
That showed blitz, back out of it, and Edwards trying to keep the play alive. Outside the pocket and dumped it off. Marcus Doughton was right on top of him, and the Eagles will have to punt it away.
Every day the Eagles work on a scramble drill where one player comes to the quarterback and one player goes deep. And in that case, you can take a look here on the outside. All right, now Trent Edwards is he's in trouble. So Damaris Johnson now, he's got to come back to that ball. Come back and help out Trent Edwards. He sees his quarterback rolling out. He's a young receiver, he's a rookie, but you can come back and help your receiver out.
They almost got that punt, but Henry gets it away, and a fair catch called for down inside the 10-yard line after a 41-yard kick with no return. And the Jets backed up as the Eagles defense takes the field. You can get a large cheese pizza for $10 and take $1 off for every touchdown the Eagles score. There's a maximum of $6 off. Call or order online at papajohns.com. Now we continue here in second half action, and the Eagles defense, Ali Agbu and company, going to get an opportunity to tee off on the Jets. Start taking a look at some of the teams in the division. The New York Giants, a team that won the Super Bowl last year after a 9-7 regular season.
And Akeem Nicks came back last night in their last preseason game for the Giants. Their star wide receivers, Ali Agbu, is in on that tackle. And Akeem Nicks, and one of the reasons why Eli Manning started in their final preseason game was trying to build some timing back with Nicks. And then, the defensive tackle position has been decimated. They've had a lot of injuries. Shawn Rogers went down. Chris Canny went down. And secondary issues. Terrell Thomas, the guy they were counting on. Prince Amukamara, they're all injured to start the season. Look, the Giants overcame all those injuries last year. They never made an excuse, Scott. And they got hot at the right time, winning their final 6 games.
And it's funny. The first of those wins came against this Jets team. And then they had to figure out a way to beat the Dallas Cowboys, who they are going to play in the opener for the entire of the NFL season. The Meadowlands on Wednesday night.
And that's kickoff weekend. So it starts Wednesday night. The official 2012 season starts. The Cowboys 8-8. And Jason Witten has been out. He lacerated his spleen, and so he's unsure right now whether he's going to be able to play. A lot of people have heard about this Dez Bryant, this talented wide receivers, and the 24-hour surveillance that he has. And I think most important to the Cowboys right now is they've rebuilt the interior of their offensive line, and that means how well do they protect their star quarterback, Tony Romo.
I'll tell you what, as the defense swarms and Roll makes a tackle on third down, the Jets are going to have to punt out of their own end zone. Of the guys that I saw last year that could potentially be the biggest impact player on the field and the biggest problem for a defensive coordinator, Dez Bryant's right there.
No, there's no doubt. The talent jumps off the screen. There's one-handed catches, the ability to finish plays, start punt returner for him if he wants to do that. But he, as Charles Barkley would say, he got a little knucklehead in him, and it comes out from time to time.
And a fair catch called for by Johnson. The Eagles going to get themselves a very short field as they take over at the Jets' 40-yard line when we come back. Your AAA card is useful in ways you might not expect. Besides roadside assistance, we offer auto insurance. For a quote on auto insurance the AAA way, call, come in, or visit AAA.com. Let's take you down to Jeff Skversky on the field.
All right, Scott, thanks a lot. We're here with defensive tackle Cullen Jenkins. Regular season opens in 10 days. How excited are you to go back to Cleveland and get this underway?
It's been a long training camp, long preseason, and man, we can't wait to get this thing started. Can't wait to get out here and, try to get some things corrected from last year and just get off to a fast start.
Of course, you won a Super Bowl in Green Bay before coming over here. Can you compare that team to the way this team looks right now, the talent level?
Well, one thing we had in that team was a lot of competition, and I think that's something that you can clearly see on this team. There's competition at every position. Especially on the defensive side of the ball with us. And I think that's something that we need, and it's something that's good for us.
For people in this city that are starving for a Super Bowl, what does it take to win one?
Just got to stay hungry. You got to stay hungry. You got to keep wanting it, keep trying, keep improving every week. you can never settle and never think you're there. You know, you can look at a lot of teams, Giants last year and the Packers the previous year before that, and you know those teams didn't start off good, and you know halfway through the season a lot of people had them written off, but they stayed with it. They got better every week, and they made the run at the right time.
All right, Cohen, we appreciate you joining us. Hopefully you can help us bring the first Super Bowl to Philadelphia. Let's go back upstairs.
Now, once again, he is a guy who understands what it's like, understands what it's like for a team to not only get through a season and hoist a trophy at the end of the year, but to get through the rough spots that got you there.
Yeah, you know, and that team that he played on in Green Bay, they were the 6th seed that year, Scott. They got in by the skin of their teeth, literally in the final hour of the final day of the season. And then once they got in, they went on the road 4 times. They won 4, and of course beat Pittsburgh for the championship.
Eagles moving the football now as they try to get into the red zone. As Polk with the carry on the left side down to the 22. David Harrison the tackle.
I'm sorry, Scott. I was just looking at Dennis Kelly down there playing left tackle right now. We've talked about him. He's valuable reps for Dennis Kelly. I mean, just you can't find guys that are 6'8", 330 pounds, that are light on their feet, and every single time he gets out there, he's getting another rep of experience because it's a long season. You don't know when you're going to have to play a rookie 5th-round pick like Dennis Kelly.
Andy Reid likes the depth of his offensive line.
Yeah, well, he's got a lot of guys that have played.
Throw across the middle, and Johnson was 1 move away from getting that first down, but got ripped down at the 20. 4th down and 3 now, and with the game standing where it does at a 4-point game, the Eagles going to send the field goal unit out.
It's interesting, you know, that Damaris Johnson this preseason, he's 5'8". I mean, nobody's going to, you know, think that has any kind of size, but he always seems to be able to get open, and any quarterback that is thrown to him seems to be able to find him. Size doesn't seem to be an issue for him getting open to get the ball.
Henry, a 38-yard field goal attempt, and he missed it. We just didn't see that an awful lot last year. He missed one last week in Cleveland, and this one goes wide to the left as the score stays stuck on 14-10. Become part of the team and join the Eagles Kids Club today. Memberships are free and provide access to exclusive events, year-round contests, and awesome prizes. Sign up for free at PhiladelphiaEagles.com/kids.
Every one of these kids is in an Eagles shirt. Watch this miss by Henry here, and just outside the upright. But watch this one-handed catch by a fan.
Not a fan, a Kids Club member.
There we go. That's brilliant. And he deserves a good pat on the head.
Wearing a Westbrook jersey, by the way.
Yeah, how about that? Mentioned Brian Westbrook just retiring this week as an Eagle. Pretty emotional, but anybody that's ever been around Brian, just a complete class kid.
That was Cohen coming through.
Landon Cohen just got signed yesterday. Come in and play this game today. Didn't get himself on tape.
Encroachment. Defense number 77. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Probably not the way of choice to get yourself on tape.
Well, you don't want to be noticed that way, Scott.
No.
You know, you like to be noticed getting after the quarterback. But we've seen that a little bit in preseason from the defensive line. You see dual numbers here. It's kind of a sign of a preseason game. Demetrius Bell on the left, Landon Cohen on the right. You got to earn that number. You got to earn a single number sometimes in preseason.
Did you ever have a dual number?
I did not. No, I took over for John Fitzgerald in Dallas and was able to keep 62.
Ian Clayton and Ryan Rao making the tackle. Mentioned it. Ryan Westbrook retiring as an Eagle. What an unbelievably stellar career, and what a weapon he was out of the backfield.
You know, right in our backyard from Villanova. Andy Talley's Villanova. This play in the Meadowlands, you know, up there with some of the greatest plays. Herman Edwards and Deshaun Jackson's return broke the Giants back that day in 2003. You know, back-breaking catches against the Minnesota Vikings and in a playoff game, and every down player. Great blocker, receiver, and runner.
Second leading rusher in Eagles history behind Wilbert Montgomery. And the catch made by Riley for the Jets. He's going to be about a yard shy of the 1st down.
Take a look at the hit on the quarterback this time. Here comes Vinny Curry from the backside. That's a good shot too. He's got a little flak jacket on, so kind of brushed it off. But Curry, anytime you get to the quarterback, you get a quarterback hit like that, you get noticed. We like to show the replay of that.
Quarterback is Matt Sims, a rookie out of Tennessee, the son of Phil Sims.
Yep.
And they stuffed that run. Basically nothing there for John Connor on 3rd down and short.
Yeah, in that pile at the bottom there, Jaquan Jarrett, Ryan Rao. Take a look right here. Look at the penetration here by Rao. Good job by the defensive line. And Rao gets there, Jaquan Jarrett. Yeah, they didn't get near the yellow line there.
So they hold on 3rd and short, and the Jets will run the punt team out.
I like that. I just like his instincts for the game. And sometimes you just need guys to catch your attention like that, and you just keep looking at him and watching him, and before you know it, I mean, that's what we were doing with Philip Hunt last year, and now he's one of their regulars in a rotation.
TJ Conley gets the punt away, and Jackson calls for another fair catch. The 23-yard line. That is where the Eagles will begin with 2:55 to go here in the 3rd. Field. Go to PhiladelphiaEagles.com for more info on how you can win tickets. Bud Light, it's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Late here in the 3rd quarter. I want to leave out the other team that we're talking about in the NFC East, the Washington Redskins. They were last year, but this is certainly a new-look Redskins team.
Well, it is. It starts with the 2nd pick in the draft, the Heisman Trophy winner RG3, and a guy that they signed in free agency, Pierre Garçon, who's going to be his #1 receiver, and is a great deep threat.
Speaking of deep threats, Gilliard kind of got caught up out there, and he was with Isaiah Trufant in the long pattern, couldn't quite haul it in.
2nd deep ball to Gilliard here this evening. Trying to get separation, good hand fighting going on. I guess they're going to let that stuff go. It'll be interesting, Scott, with these replacement officials, what they're going to allow to go on the outside, because it's going to decide big plays in a lot of games. If they're going to call that right there, is that an arm bar by the defender? Or are they going to let that go? Coaches are dying to figure out how they're going to call these games.
Here's Polk. Here we go. Flag of the play. Might be coming back, and if it does, it's going to negate a very big gain of 25 yards.
Holding, 41 offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
All right, so here we go. And let's just take a look. Let's take a look right here. He's got ISO leads, who's got the inside linebacker in good shape. I don't know. I mean, his hands were inside. It's another good look at it. Looks like it's a pretty good block to me.
Held the block. He was being held on to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it looked like it's a pretty good finish to me. All they see is the end of the play, the linebacker going down. But I thought the positioning was good, Barney.
Well, you're an offensive lineman. You should know.
Yeah, I know what to get away with.
Not you.
That's a good finish. There we go. There's a little, he knows it. A little good violence there with that free arm. He got a smile on his face. That's a good hit. Boom. Oof.
Yep.
That's violent. That's good.
I've been waiting all camp for that, he's saying.
Yeah. Those are dreams. When you get a one-on-one defender in the open field, you lower the boom on him like that, you finish him. A decleater on that.
Who was the best you ever saw dishing out punishment at the end of a run?
Walter Payton.
Exactly correct.
Yep. Best stiff arm to ever played a game.
You didn't know that there actually was a correct answer to that question.
There was a correct answer. You're right, Scott.
Johnson with the reception. That's going to be good for 1st down yardage out to the 34.
It's interesting. I just said a couple minutes ago about Damaris Johnson, how even at 5'8", he gets open. And that slant route, he got separation from the corner and created some space and made it an easier throw. I mean, here it is. A little outside in cut. See a little separation, just enough to get away from the defender and the 1st down on the play. He's got skills. He's got real good skills by him.
And once again, a lot of those skills are part of the reason why he is going to be with this team to begin the season. Edwards has his ball tipped in the backfield. Marcus Dixon got a hand up, and that was going to be pretty easy completion to chase forward, but Dixon broke it up.
You know, going back to that Damaris Johnson who's coming on the field right now. You know, you look at the guys that are vertically challenged in this game, okay? Guys like Wes Welker, Darren Sproles. I mean, there's a place for the little man in pro football. There always has been. And it's really a question of how they separate to get open. And this kid looks like he's a natural at it.
Saw leading the team in receiving yards in the preseason. Polk good, acceleration to the outside. Another late flag coming in, and a flag at the end of the run as he got into Jets territory. We're going to have to wait and see. These could offset. I think the tackle might have been a horse collar, but we might be seeing a hold all the way back the 35-yard line.
There is no call for holding. Horse collar, 39 defense.
All right, so
15
no hold.
yards, first down.
Let's take a look. Good job on the outside on that play. Good block right here. Now this is all Polk, so he's clean out. Yeah. Watch this hand in the back of the shoulder pads and then pulling him down, and they're trying to player safety is an issue, and horse collar right now is a common term. Remember, that horse collar was started by a tackle by Roy Williams on Terrell Owens back in the day. And Terrell, of course, that was the injury that he had to his ankle that had him out until Super Bowl Sunday in 2004.
Back to the middle of the field. That ball come out? It did not. A gain of
Bryce Brown back in the game.
Got 3 yards on the play. That probably is going to wrap things up for this third quarter. Gilliard and company trying to show what they can do in these closing moments of this Eagles preseason. Now they're going quickly to the line. Bit of a surprise. One more snap for the third quarter. And Edwards, the throw, complete. And Gilliard, continuing to show what he can do, has himself a first down on the final play of the third quarter. He has been a reliable target for Trent Edwards tonight, and the Eagles are going to be on the move as we go into the fourth quarter of this game. 15 minutes of preseason football to go, and a 4-point lead over the New York Jets. Lincoln Financial Field can not only offer all the amenities of a traditional venue, but also an experience your guests won't receive anywhere else. Stadium tours, Eagles cheerleaders, alumni, even a variety of NFL-inspired team-building exercise, all available. Please visit events.lincolnfinancialfield.com or call 215-667-6100 to book your next meeting or event. Let's take it down on the field right now to Jeff.
All right, thanks, Scott. We're here with Jason Avant, Eagles receiver last year. Career high in yards and catches. Is the goal this year to boost those numbers and to be even better as a receiver?
Not at all as far as the numbers. You can be better as a receiver and catch less passes. It's all about the opportunities that you have. You never know how many balls you will have a chance to catch. You never know how many balls will be thrown your way, so you just got to play as best you can with the opportunities that you have. Don't count your catches, play as hard as you can, and it'll work out just like that. So I can't control how many times that Marty called a number for me, but I'm going to play as hard as I can every time.
How much fun is it out here tonight watching these guys compete for jobs, watching guys like Marty Gilliard, watching Damaris Johnson compete for a job? I mean, Johnson's been really good in this preseason.
Well, I'm hoping that they continue to go out and play good for the remainder of the game and not lose focus. With this game, with a lot of players on the sideline, having, different conversations because they're not in, to keep their focus. And I think that they're doing a great job, but I hope they continue to finish out the game. But they are having especially Damaris is having a great camp. So we'll see. It's going to be, some tough numbers, that for that last spot, and we'll see who gets it.
All right, Jason, thanks for your time. Good luck this season. Guys, let's go back upstairs.
Jason Avant has increased his reception total in each of his first 6 seasons, so he can teach that young man a thing or two. That guy right there, still trying to find his way back into an NFL roster. 10th play of this drive now on third down. And Edwards in trouble with a flag on the play. Garrett McIntyre, who's been huge for the Jets tonight, got in to drop him. We'll have to see about the flag.
Holding, 74 offense, 10-yard penalty, 3rd down.
DJ Jones now at right tackle. I hate to mention offensive lineman's name when they have a holding call.
I know you do.
I do. It's painful.
You didn't like it when they said number 62?
No, because sometimes that's the only, like, we haven't mentioned DJ Jones's name tonight, and here we do, first time. Hate to say that. But you know what? It's like I had a holding call my first play in the NFL, Scott. First play I ever got a holding call. And then, you know, you hopefully you learn from it, and you learn what you can do and what you can't do, and you're trying to eliminate, you know, making a mistake the second time.
3rd down. They've got to get it down to the 13-yard line to continue the drive, and now it's going to be a little bit further than that.
Ball start, 67 offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Dennis Kelly trying to get a little quick start. There's that left tackle, just a little flinch. That's all it takes, just that flinch on Aaron Maypin out there, who kind of resurrected his career for the Jets last year with 6 sacks. As we enter the 4th quarter of this final preseason game, it's starting to feel like the 4th quarter a little bit.
Starting to look like it too, yeah. As we said, when this all wraps up, and now Trent Edwards going to ask for a timeout. As this all wraps up, still some decisions to be made about a number of guys wearing Eagles green. University Hospitals in a 14-10 game right now. Yep. As you said, 4th quarter of the final preseason game. Starting to have a little bit of that feel to it at this point, but
yeah, but you know, I don't want to take the focus off the guys out there that are fighting and competing and trying to make this team. Because I was one time a free agent, undrafted, in the 4th quarter of a final preseason game. Veterans and visors having a good time on the sideline. And in your mind, you're like, I can't make a mistake. I gotta make it. So, but it does. And the big picture here, Scott. I mean, we're in the final quarter here of preseason. Everybody's dying for the season to start. You got to get through these games. But look, 10 days away, the Cleveland Browns. That's what hopefully the attention of a lot of these guys are tonight. And
we ended up just seeing that Cleveland Browns team. So you're talking about one that the Eagles are to a certain degree familiar with, and it's also a Browns team that's really trying to remake itself after a 4-12 year last year.
They could have as many as 5 rookies that really play an impact on that offense, including the quarterback, who he fumbled 3 times last week. It's on tape. This guy, Brandon Whedon, holds the ball low. We saw Darryl Tapp get the ball out of his hands. Derek Landry get the ball out of his hands last week. I'm sure there'll be a big focus of the game planning that will begin tomorrow.
3rd down and 24. Defense trying to tee off on Edwards. He's got a wide open spot to run to. Look at the speed. Look at that. 1st down. How about that? He just accelerated.
Outside, Dennis Kelly takes him out. Now the lane opens up, but it's man coverage down the field, so the defenders have their back to Trent Edwards, and he has his eyes set on that on the chains, the 1st down marker the whole way. I think people got to remember, I think Trent Edwards is only 28, isn't he? I mean, he's still very much in his prime.
28 years old, and yeah, Michael Vick has done that once or twice.
We have seen that. Part of what makes Mike Vick special.
Hulk through the middle. Keeps the legs moving even after the contact and works his way down to the 7-yard line. He's been impressive. There's no doubt about the fact that if you look at Trent Edwards, from where he was at the beginning of camp to right now, he has been very impressive.
Well, I think he's made it exceedingly difficult for the Eagles to really nail down who the 3rd quarterback is on this team. And let's face it, if you're talking about the 3rd quarterback, it's probably not really good to begin with, though, Scott. But look, you get a chance to get on a roster here. You never know when your name is going to get called.
On 2nd down, he feels the pressure coming from behind. Throwing, got it, touchdown! Brett Brackett in the corner of the end zone.
Touchdowns in back-to-back weeks to Brett Brackett, the former Nittany Lion, and that's a nice job by Trent Edwards on the whole drive, Scott. Picking up the big 3rd down on the run, scrambling here, keeping this play alive. Just waiting for Brackett to uncover here, then nice soft delivery. And Edwards, really a nice finish here on a really good night and a great training camp for him.
And you got to remember, he wasn't playing in the NFL last year. This has to be some vindication for him, saying, you know what, I can still play this game.
There's no question, and it happens. Guys, get out of the league, jettisoned for whatever reason. You get a chance to get back in, and he's taking advantage of every single time he's had a chance to step on the field.
19 for 25 on the night. And by using his feet to keep the play alive, he finds Brackett for his second touchdown pass of the evening.
To Brett Brackett. Brackett's third touchdown catch of the preseason. Here it is. Just kind of like a little bench route. Edwards just doing a good job of buying time. The original read wasn't to the right. It was to the left. There it is. Gets his feet in bounds right there. And Brett Brackett, touchdown maker here tonight.
That's also experience. It's veteran experience, feeling the pressure coming from behind and knowing you have to keep the play alive. And of course, he did all of it. Big play for him in this preseason. Maybe it wasn't 4th and 26, but it was 3rd and 24.
Yeah.
And it's not a playoff game, so give the guy his due.
I think he feels pretty good about not just what he's done here tonight, but what he's done this preseason. Those are good numbers. I don't care who it's against. This team has moved the ball when he's been in there. He knows the offense. You know, he's a bright kid. And look, his foundation was Bill Walsh's offense at Stanford, which is the same terminology.
Have a skittering kick, and Jordan White will pick it up just outside his 5-yard line. Guess who's downfield on special teams? It's Ryan Rao once again. He stops him at the 23. Let's take you down to the field.
All right, thanks, guys. We're here with Brandon Graham. You have been very tough on yourself this offseason. You've said you're on a mission. How's that mission going so far in the preseason?
No, it's going good. I finished up with a good first half this last game, and I'm just looking forward to the first game.
This offseason, you worked with a boxing trainer. You lost 20 pounds. How much has that helped you as far as your quickness out on the football field?
It helped me a lot, just on learning how to breathe, control my breathing, and being able to go harder each play. That's what I was really worried about, just coming in this year, being able to go every play and, having to win and starting to be able to do it.
Do you feel like this is your biggest year for yourself, that you're going to have the biggest year of your career?
Yeah, I feel like this is going to be a big year. First of the many to come.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Best of luck this season. Let's go Eagles. Guys, back upstairs.
Brandon Graham, part of a defensive line that has, as we said, been more than just a little impressive. Defensively right there, they do the job of getting some pressure, and they also make the play in the secondary. But this line, and again, you got guys right now getting an opportunity, including Vinny Curry, who's seeing some extra time here late in this game.
Well, they could keep as many as 10, maybe 11 defensive linemen on the 53-man roster.
How many do you play in a given week, though?
You're probably going to get 8 dressed for a game. And they'll rotate all 8. They'll all play almost equal amounts. The plan right now is to sort of rotate the group every 4 plays. And that man would like to keep them fresh. That's what he did at Tennessee, and that's what he did last year in Philadelphia. Put a lot of guys into the Pro Bowl. They created a lot of big plays under Jim Washburn. But the other thing that kind of gets lost is people talk about the sacks, and that's great. They had 50 of them last year. But he also has had the #1 rush defensive football in Tennessee a couple of times. When they had Kyle Van Bosch, and they had Albert Haynesworth and stuff. They were the #1 rush defensive football. So that's really what the demand is.
That's not even fair. Monty Taylor coming around the outside. And Matt Sims never had a shot to even set his feet. They were coming straight upfield.
Yep, everybody gets involved. Here's Monty Taylor coming on the outside. And they beat them quick. That's his first sack, and here's the whole group. There's Tap. That's how this whole defensive line is, though. Everybody is cheerleading for everybody else.
Even Jason Babbitt in the T-shirt. Here's Gilliard now back to receive a punt. Took a little punishment as he got it out across the 40 to the 42-yard line. 49 yards on the kick, 7 on the return.
Well, there's a lot of defensive tackles on this roster. Not all of them can make it. So there's a lot of battles. Cullen Jenkins will start, but I think they want to try to limit the number of snaps to make sure he's fresh at the end of the season. Cedric Thornton is a guy could be on it. I think he's played well here this preseason. I think he's going to be okay, Scott. Antonio Dixon's a guy that is coming back off an injury last year, back injury, a tricep injury. He's played well. He's proven he can play in this league. Agbu is a guy that everybody in this defensive line really likes. They just admire him as a person.
And then, there's that difference that we're talking about here. And something that, you know about from your days of playing. Some guys are going to leave here tonight that are going to feel incredibly comfortable and sleep very well. There's going to be others who won't.
Yeah, and look, it's the business, and it's the hardest part of the business. Andy Reid, it's the toughest day when he's got to release good players, and they're going to release good players today. Derek Landry was released last year, came back. And they're going to release good players tomorrow.
That's a heck of a catch.
I got to tell you, I went over to see Andy today, Scott. Middle of the day, 2:30 in the afternoon. I walk into his office. The blinds are closed, and the Cleveland Browns are on the screen, and he's just grinding there in the middle of the afternoon. Like their workday really doesn't end.
That's how you win 61% of your games.
Yeah. Record that is admired by a lot from around the league.
Longest tenured coach in the NFL. One of the longest tenured coaches in all of professional sports.
Yep.
And Edwards trying to reach for the extra yard. Ends up getting it to the 45.
Yeah, he took over that title when Jeff Fisher, was removed in Tennessee, and now in St. Louis. Was out of football a year ago, so Andy has that title beginning his 14th season. People don't remember, but Bill Cowher won his only world championship in his 15th year in Pittsburgh. They stayed the course, and it all came together in that magical year in 2005.
There's Polk in the hole, keeping it moving, trying to keep the chains moving, and I'm not going to try to sell you something here that's not true. The clock moving too.
Yeah, well,
at this point, you've gotten what you've gotten out of the preseason, and what you're trying to do is make sure everybody's healthy.
Yep.
When the clock hits all zeros.
Yeah, and that's the way you try to evaluate it. Those guys out there have played this whole second half. Kelly and Vandervelde there, last year's 6th-round pick from Iowa. Steve Vallows, who was drafted by Seattle out of Wake Forest a number of years ago, trying to make this team as a backup swing guard center.
He's got all day back there and finally runs out of time and fires it out of bounds. Good coverage by the Jets secondary.
We've seen that a lot from Trent Edwards, just smart football decisions. When something isn't there, he holds it and then not afraid to throw it away, put the punt team back out there. Just don't turn something into a negative play. He's been good at protecting the football.
So Henry will try to knock it out inside the 20. Under 9 minutes now left to go in the game. Eagles that far away from going undefeated this preseason. First time since 1995 if it happens. Got a flag down on the play. After that punt is fair, caught at the 14-yard line by Pollard.
Eagles weren't set at the gunner position. So we'll see if the Jets want to re-kick.
I would think they would. Maybe not. They're still trying to settle this out.
Illegal shift. Number 19 offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Big Harold Carmichael, player services director for the Philadelphia Eagles. He still's got it. Oh yeah, it's easy. What a target, huh? There's a red zone threat.
Yeah.
Stick those long arms up there. He heads up former trainer of the Eagles, Otho Davis. He heads up his foundation. They got a big dinner in Center City, October 23rd.
A good look at Center City, Philadelphia. To kick off the 2012 NFL season, the Eagles Television Network will debut 4 exciting shows next week. The new lineup will feature unprecedented access to the team, expert analysis, film study, as well as opportunities for you to engage with the team through social media. Tune in September 6th when the new season of Eagles shows begins.
Eagles part of that Eagles game plan.
Yeah. You know what? My goal was to make my show better than your show this year.
Which one is yours, Scott?
That would be Eagles Unscripted.
Unscripted, okay. All right, let's just see who brings in the awards this year.
How do we? Yeah, well, that's the thing. Is it awards? Is it ratings? How do we do this?
I don't know, Scott. I mean,
have some sort of a way of quantifying this if we're going to make some sort of a wager here.
What do we got going on, guys? Little tempers, little flares here.
Monty Taylor.
Yeah.
I got locked up a little bit.
There we go. That tandem there, Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie. You just mentioned that when you're dreaming on that pillow of yours tonight, Scott, Howie will be grinding hard at work trying to figure out what the best 53 is for this season going forward.
And you think he's got a pretty good idea, but there are still some tough choices that have to be made. And, you know, some of it, as you said, some players that are going to end up going that you don't want to lose.
No.
Sims did a good job of keeping all of that alive. The bottom line at the end of it was that Vinny Curry shoves him out of bounds.
You know, the thing is that a lot of times, even with the 5 weeks of preseason, Scott, you still don't have enough feel for certain, and you hate releasing players. Like Ryan Rao has done nothing but showed up tonight for us. We've been talking about him from the very beginning. Second play of the game last week against Cleveland, knocked the ball out of the running back's hands. And you go, you don't know what's going to happen with these guys with time. Because really, in football, nothing replaces the skill of playing a position and playing it. And when this kid gets in there to play, he keeps showing up. And the last thing they want to do tomorrow is release a player that becomes a really good player.
And that could be a terrific special teams player. That could be somebody, you know, who helps fill a gap for someone else.
All-star, offense number 69, 5 yards, third down.
I mentioned early, Ryan Rao is from Portland State. That's where Mouse Davis. Mouse Davis was basically the grandfather of the whole spread offense. Like, he believed that way when it was just, then everybody else was running the ball, Mouse was throwing it. You know, and then Jerry Glanville is the head coach at Portland State right now. Long time, you know, the Blitz Grits in Atlanta and in Houston, and he coached this kid Ryan Rao at Portland State. He's been well coached. There's another sack by the defensive line.
That's funny. After all of that, we didn't end up seeing a whole lot of the run and shoot. You know, ultimately, it was there for a while, then it went away.
Yeah, but it's all throughout college football, and it keeps creeping into the NFL. Tom Brady lives in a shotgun spread offense, so there's a lot of pieces to that. There's the spread, then there's the run and shoot. I played in the run and shoot in Indianapolis with Jeff George, and it was almost unstoppable at times.
That is a very short kick, and Gilliard with the fair catch makes it inside the 40-yard line. So with 6:46 to go, terrific field positions for the Eagles, due in part to the grind of the defense.
That's a nice move by Vinny Curry.
Now we continue here. Eagles preseason football brought to you by Jefferson University Hospitals. An 11-point lead and the football as we move on late in the fourth quarter. So, as Trent Edwards tries to bring his team down and get into the end zone again, talked about the Cleveland Browns, week 2, home opener, Baltimore Ravens, tough squad.
Well, just think about it. They were one play away last year from beating the New England Patriots and going to the Super Bowl. And I think for the first time in the history of the Ravens, the offense has a chance of being better than the defense. Joe Flacco's played really well here. Kid from Audubon, South Jersey, this preseason.
They keep trying to get to that corner of the end zone.
Yeah, they do.
Chad Hall just couldn't quite get separation on a touch pass to the pylon.
It's just a straight go route. He's just trying to outrun him here. Putting the ball up. I mean, the ball is perfectly thrown. It's where you'd like to have maybe just a bigger guy out there, but that's well played, well defended, having inside position on Chad Hall.
Isaiah Trufant has done a pretty good job in man coverage.
Yes.
Former UFL player. That's great release and great understanding of where the blitz was coming from by Edwards.
Okay, Edwards has taken some shots tonight, and he just has put the ball right where he needs to. He got hit there. But the release is quick. The timing is back after being out of the NFL a year ago.
Clock winding down. We'll cross 6 minutes left to go here in this one on a 3rd down and 1. Up on top again. Same spot. And over the outside shoulder of Marvin McNutt, it falls incomplete.
Yeah, McNutt's got to see that ball a little earlier and then adjust to it. It's thrown to his back shoulder. And he's putting it up there for the receiver to adjust. You see, right, that ball is not badly thrown. Like McNutt maybe to look a little sooner and then adjust a little bit better to it.
4th down and 1. No reason to think about a field goal in this spot. Try your 4th down short offense. And that quick throw is good for the 1st down.
Nice job by staying in bounds, too, as well by Chad Hall. Just a heady play.
Didn't they run that same play on the drive that ended up winning the game against the Steelers?
Yes, they did. It's just sprint right option. You know, and that the slot receiver has the option route, where to go, and it's designed just to get it out quick. You got a little leverage on that play. Then Chad Hall does the smart thing and get down.
And Edwards' good night continues, just shy of 200 yards passing now at 22 out of 31.
Got to be a great feeling for Trent Edwards just to get this kind of work in and get the ball out of his hands like this.
And Polk, some punishing running inside the 20 down to the 16.
Well, their backup running backs right now have size. You know, Bryce Brown and Chris Polk, both of them over 220 pounds. And you just saw the ability to finish a run like he just had.
The clock continues to run. Eagles down inside the red zone once again. And back to Polk, who's got a lead block, but his feet taken out from underneath him by Marcus Dixon. A loss on the play. So Trent Edwards, a fine preseason. Where does it all lead?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's shown all the skills, you know, the ability to extend plays with his legs, keep them alive, throw on the run, having a good time out there. He doesn't care who he's playing with, backups, guys that could be on the street tomorrow. It's just a chance to get back and do what he was brought in this league to do, play quarterback.
Blitz coming, delayed blitz coming. That ball was knocked away at the line of scrimmage. Isaiah Trufant was coming on the delayed blitz from the right side. Marcus Dixon knocked it away.
I'd say that's the one negative tonight from Trent Edwards. He's had a lot of passes batted down. I think that could be his 3rd pass that's been batted, and that's always frustrating for a quarterback because you never know what the result could have been.
Pretty good size, 6'4". As we said tonight, he's shown some toughness. 3rd down, back to the ground, and Polk, cut back running, finds his way down near the 5-yard line, and I believe he just got enough for the 1st down.
Yep. He's got good instincts. Good instincts. He breaks the tackle at the line. You can see he's big. He's got power. Arm tackles aren't going to bring him down. Good cut. Good cut to beat the penetrating linebacker on that play. I like the way he gets up off the ground after he carries it, too. He gets up fast.
He had 13 carries in the preseason for 51 yards coming in. Tonight, 11 for 56. And another carry. With the block to the outside, he gets hit hard and taken down by Marcus Doughton. But the clock continues to run. We'll cross 3 minutes now left to go in this one.
Let's face it, his career at Washington isn't the type of career where a guy doesn't get drafted. It was injuries that sort of inhibited him to his shoulders and to his knees. But it wasn't about lack of production at Washington. He was a great player in the Pac-12.
10th play of what has been an extended drive. Back to Polk. Through the middle. Second effort running for the touchdown. And the Eagles are going to go undefeated in the preseason.
Yeah, and the backup running backs did well tonight. Bryce Brown with the touchdown run, Chris Polk with one, but that man, Trent Edwards, moved this team all night long. And, you know, he stated his case to be on this team. Nice spin there by Chris Polk, feeling the pressure, making the contact. Nice little, that's a drill you work on every day as a running back. Just bouncing off ball carriers in a little wiggle of celebration to finish that drive and the touchdown off.
13 carries and 62 yards. An injured player down on the field for the New York Jets. That guy surely knows a little bit about getting into the end zone.
That's a winning smile from Shady McCoy.
Executive producer of the Eagles Television Network, Chris Johnson. Artie Kempner, our director. Joel Kate, our producer. Rob Schmoll, the unit manager. You see the credits rolling by as we take a look and see apparently everything is okay for Marcus Dixon, who got basically run over by Polk and was slow to get up. And Edwards just happy to get his team into the end zone once again.
Yeah, he got a good night's work. Good 3 quarters of work for Trent Edwards.
(28-10) with 2:33 left to go. All right, so a lot of smiles going around, no doubt. Here's a question for you as we take a look at more of the people who've helped bring you our preseason telecasts. 4-0 in the preseason. People say, well, it's preseason. Does undefeated in the preseason mean something in terms of where a team's head is at going into the regular season?
No, I don't think so at all, Scott. I mean, I've played on teams that didn't win a game in the preseason, ended up in the playoffs. I've been on teams that were undefeated. It all starts. It's just a different speed. A lot of backups scored here, guys that aren't going to be on this roster. It's about your stars going out there in 10 days against the Cleveland Browns and playing up to the talent level, which is better than Cleveland's, but you got to go play it. There's always uncertainty week 1, Scott, always. Every coach in this league kind of holds their breath. Mike Vick has got to be chomping right now. He's got to be thinking about, let's put this preseason, this injury-marred preseason behind me. Let's start fresh, new slate, and let's get this team rolling here off to a fast start.
And despite the injury marred, as you rephrase it for Vic, you know, the one thing is you got 2:33 to go. You don't want to jinx anything, but there have not been a lot of injuries here that are going to impact this team beyond week 1.
Their starters are all going to be ready to go. Jason Babin, who hasn't played in the preseason, their star end, who should be ready to go against Cleveland. Mike Vick will be ready to go. Those ribs will be fine come September 9th. It's time for the stars to shine.
Jordan White on the return out across the 20. 2:28 to go.
You know, and no matter how you start the season, Scott, at some point your team has got to come together. Every year is a different year. Whatever happened last year, we've seen that in Super Bowl winners. They can't get back to the playoffs the next year. At some point, the team's got to come together and pull for one another, all right? And you got to put that streak together. And you don't know when that's going to happen, when it's going to occur, but the good teams, and Andy's had a bunch of them, the good teams come together and they go off on a run, and it doesn't matter who they play. They find ways to win games, and they put a streak together.
Now just trying to close this one out. Frank Trotter making the tackle. Rookie out of Memphis. Got the start here in tonight's game. Nabi Asamoah, a very quiet night tonight. The idea, of course, being that he has a little bit better understanding of what they're trying to do defensively, being here now for a year, and really looking forward to what 2012 is going to bring as they cap off an unquestionably successful preseason. (28-10) with 2 minutes to go here in this final preseason game for the Eagles. All right, that's one of the guys right there that would certainly come to the top of the list. But Brian Baldinger, what have we learned over these 4 games in the preseason?
Well, we know that the depth on the defensive line is as good as any in the league, and that's where their playmakers are. They know they're a lot better at left corner. You know that Nick Foles here can play. It's a different speed. It's different in the regular season than what we just saw him do here, but he's now their backup. Backups always are one play away. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie is so much better than Asante Samuel. It's huge there. Michael Kendricks, they got themselves a linebacker. They've been looking for a linebacker. They've drafted one. I think this kid's going to play like a good player. And these two rookie returners have a chance to impact this team. I mean, it wasn't a strong point of this team a year ago. But I think Damaris Johnson and Brandon Boykin will make their share of plays in the return game this year. They look sure-handed. They look like they've got a good skill at that, and that should help their field position.
So those are the things that we have seen here. And under that bright moonlight here in Philadelphia, already knew what that young man could do. We found that out over the course of the beginning of the preseason. Did anybody make a name for themselves tonight? You take a look. Marty Gilliard certainly had himself a good night.
Marty had a good night. Damaris Johnson, I mean, both backs, Bryce Brown and Chris Polk posted. But I think this kid here in the middle, Brian Rao, has definitely, from a standpoint, can he make this roster? He's going to be at least on the practice squad.
And the offensive woes for the Jets continue. With that loss, Brian, of 4 yards, they are now at net 0 yardage for the second half.
Okay, all right. But, you'd ask me this, Scott. It's a good question, and the fans want to know. 4-0 preseason doesn't mean anything. No, it doesn't mean anything. But one thing that keeps showing up, and it did in the 4-game win streak last year, is when this defensive line is active and they're getting after the quarterbacks, good things happen to Andy Reid and this team.
Matt Sims got to be thinking, this looked like a lot more fun when Dad did it. Collapsing around him again. He finally got the pass out. And Royce Pollard with the catch loses the ball out of bounds as he is pummeled with 1:05 left to go.
That's one thing that this team has to do, Scott. They have to get takeaways. Under Jim Johnson, this was a team that was always amongst the leaders defensively in takeaways. It's a mentality. And even right there on that play, that's an example. It doesn't matter who's on the field. It could be Adrian Moten on that play. Knocking the ball out, punching it loose. Juan Castillo's goal for this defense is 2 takeaways each game, a minimum of 2.
Now, the game is over with just over a minute to go. You're going to kneel down once you get this, but that time what Gilliard's thinking at all right now.
Heck no. He's thinking about taking this ball probably back to the house.
I got one more crack at this, baby. No way you're going to see a fair catch right now, that's for sure. Staying on his feet, trying to keep it alive. He's still up. And finally goes down at the 26.
He had a smile on his face. I can't take on all of them. I can make a couple guys miss.
So for the Eagles, after it wraps up tonight, it starts September the 9th, 1 p.m. in Cleveland against the Browns. We talked about this throughout the preseason. That first 8 games is not an easy 8 games.
Well, those 3 of the first 5, Baltimore, New York, Pittsburgh, all play up. Detroit, Atlanta, New Orleans. That's 6 of the first 8. All those teams were in the playoffs a year ago. Obviously, the Super Bowl champs, anytime it's in your division, it puts just a whole lot more emphasis on how good that division is.
And you get through the first half of the season. And what's left on the back end? A lot of games that you're going to see against the division.
And division games. And that's the way the league structured it. So a lot of games, Dallas, Washington, of course, going to the Meadowlands. Who knows? Is that for playoff spots, playoff seeding, division crown? All those things could be at stake.
2 coaches get an opportunity to talk it over as the preseason comes to an end. And for many, it's time to go play the waiting game now to find out what it is that you're going to be doing. For others, you know that your position is sealed. And we'll find out a little bit more within the next 24 hours.
It's from personal experience, Scott, for a lot of these guys, they won't sleep tonight. They will be up all night. They'll be playing the good plays over in their head, the bad plays over. And they'll just be in anticipation mode of what's going to happen, what's next.
For some, it's absolute satisfaction at what they accomplished in the preseason, no doubt about it. Nick Foles would be one of those guys. And for others, Well, we'll just have to take the wait-and-see approach. It has been an awful lot of fun. The preseason is done. The season opener Sunday, September 9th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time as the Eagles take on the Cleveland Browns to begin 2012. Brian, it's been an absolute pleasure. Really
Had a lot
enjoyed
of fun, Scott. A lot of fun, man. I can't wait to be a fan and watch this season unfold.
For Brian Baldinger, our entire crew, this is Scott Graham. We thank you for watching as the Eagles cap off a perfect preseason. Good night, everybody.